It is Monday game night. I'm Rashmin Chowdhury. I'm alongside Sam Matterface and Danny Murphy here at the London Stadium. The players have been warming up on the pitch. They've gone back into the dressing rooms as we gear up to our 8 p.m. kickoff time here. Gary O'Neill under a lot of pressure going into this. And, you know, you hear that piece that we just listened to. He was sort of parachuted in to replace Julian Lopetegui 3 days before the start of the season. He got the team finishing in 14th, 20 points above the relegation zone. Where did it all go wrong for him this season? Is it second season syndrome, or is there more to it?
No, I don't think it's second season syndrome. I think sometimes the fixtures don't help. They had a really tough start, which is obvious. Losing two players of the quality they did, you know, in terms of Neto and Kilman, was a huge blow, because they're established players. They're players who are comfortable in the role and make a difference to their team. And then, as Sam alluded to earlier, you know, the replacements weren't experienced Premier League players. They were players he's going to have to work on, try and integrate into a team and a system. And that's difficult for any coach. Never mind when you've got a threadbare squad and you've got the fixture list they had at the beginning of the season. And even in some of the early games where they didn't win, they showed some good qualities and had moments in games. If you think of the Chelsea game where they got hammered at home, the first half was a very even game, and they played really well. So I don't think football, sometimes moments and momentum can work both ways. You know, you start losing a few and your confidence drops, everything becomes harder. So I think he's been really unlucky in some respects, but you've got to fight adversity, you know, as a manager. You've got to find a different way, and that's why I alluded to earlier. Maybe they've got to be a bit harder to play against and a bit less easy on the eye and get some, get some
solidity,
scrappy results.
Scrappy results.
Yeah, scrappy's a good word.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, because it's all about points on the board. I mean, you look at Ipswich Town, for example. You know, they're playing well, but at the end of the day, it is all about getting the points, and it doesn't really help, does it? At the end of the
you look at
the end of the season, when you look at where you end up in the table.
Yeah, Leicester haven't been. I mean, I know they just changed manager, but even under Steve Cooper, the fans were disgruntled because the performances weren't great. But they nicked a few points here and there, and even when he left, they weren't in the relegation zone. And when you're out of that bottom three and you go into a game, it's different than when you go into a game and you're in it. Because you're always thinking, if we lose today, we could lose ground. Whereas when you're out of it, you can play with a bit more freedom. Tonight's huge. It is a huge game for both teams. I'd say more important as a team for Wolves. Forget the managers, I'm talking about clubs. It's more important for Wolves to get something out of this game tonight, just to take the pressure off and to give them a bit of belief for the next few games.
It's interesting, because when you hear Gary O'Neill talking in his press conference going into this, he says he is not concerned about his job at all. He's more concerned about the direction of the club. What do you make of those comments?
I think it's probably the right thing to say, because he's showing the club's more important than him. But I think if he's sleeping peacefully at night, I'd be surprised. Because
he drinks 20 cups of tea, so he's probably not sleeping at all.
That's probably very true. But as a player and as a manager of a football club, the first and most important thing is yourself. Because if he loses his job, it doesn't matter what he's done, he's then out of it. He'll want to keep his job desperately, so he will be thinking about it. But saying what he said is the right thing to say, because the club is more important, and I think that's good management.
Listen, he said it in his press conference, so I'm not his publicist, but he said that no one will work any harder than I will. This is a guy who lives and breathes it and is desperate to make it work for Wolverhampton Wanderers. I think he wanted to try and change the way they played at the beginning of the season, so they were less pragmatic and were more progressive. It didn't work out perfectly well for them. They got a few whacks and they ended up finding themselves behind the 8 ball. I think actually if they kept him in charge, and if you look at the fixtures that are upcoming over the next few weeks, I think they'll get enough points to stay in the league.
Yeah,
I think he's that kind of manager. I think he knows how to get the best of the players. I'll tell you this, from the players that I've spoken to in the Wolverhampton Wanderers dressing room, they're all behind him.
Yeah.
You can see that stuff.
Yeah, you can. He's an interesting character, actually, because, I mean, his CV will tell you that he is the right man. I know someone who's a very big Wolves fan, and I keep saying to him, stick with Gary, you've got to stick with Gary, he'll be fine. And then after the Everton game, he messaged me and said, did you mean stick with Gary? And I said, you know what, but I like what Gary O'Neill has done. He has this record of going into a team, helping them survive, making them better, and actually earning that trust of all the players. He did it when he took over from Jonathan Woodgate at Bournemouth. He was his assistant at first, wasn't he? He kept Bournemouth up. He kept Wolves up last season. Had it not been for that poor level of recruitment, Sam, he most likely would have been doing a lot better this season than he is.
Yeah, I think you can't argue with what's happened at Bournemouth since he left, because Andoni Iraola has done a brilliant job. But also, I don't think you have to denigrate Gary when you look at what Bournemouth have achieved. I think you can look at the two situations independently, and I still think that, I mean,
well, he set the foundations for
absolutely,
that.
Yeah,
absolutely,
indeed.
And I think he's got a good future ahead of him if he can find the right club that will support him. And I don't think Wolves have supported him.
Do you think Wolves is not the right club then for him?
I hope that he can build a situation there where they do end up coming to his aid and giving him a better level of depth in the squad to work with. But the players that he's got at the moment, he's going to struggle. Anyone's going to struggle.
Do you know what you need sometimes in football management? You don't need to be good, you need to be lucky sometimes. And that means 1 week where a few decisions go your way, you might get a couple of good wins and a couple of players back fit who've been missing, and all of a sudden you've got some breathing space and everybody's all right again. It can be small things in games as well that go your way. We've seen it, haven't we? Every weekend we see it. You know, you think, even you go back, I always remember that moment, and I saw it today on social media when Stevie G scored that goal at the Cop End in the year they won the Champions League.
20 years ago.
The half volley, yeah.
Was it?
Can you believe that?
It makes you feel old, doesn't
That's
it?
not because Rafa's a genius. That's because Stevie can strike a wonderful ball and decided, I'm going to smash this. And they got through. And that's just the way football works sometimes. Football fans can change like the wind. If Wolves to come here, play well and get a win, they'll all be giving them a standing ovation at the end of the game. Gary O'Neill and then they go into the next game full of beans and full of confidence. Football can flip really quickly.
It really can. What about Julian Lopetegui then? A quick word on him. Look, both managers are under pressure going into this one. You can hear I'm forever blowing bubbles now. They had a bit of a light show, and actually the stadium didn't look like it was going to fill up, did it? But it is now. So for Julian Lopetegui, look, Gary O'Neill at least has had a bit of time with these players. Julian Lopetegui has had a lot less. He's had new players come in as well. What are the prospects for him?
I think the only way he overcomes the adversity is going on a really decent run. And that means a run where they're not all over the place and losing 3, 4, 5 goals, especially here. He needs a good run of performances, not just the odd one like at Newcastle, because this fan base is huge, and a huge majority of them at the moment aren't with him, and that is a huge problem. The only thing I would say in his defence quickly is that what we took 13 games in? 14.
15th this week, yeah.
Depending on your management technique and your philosophy and your coaching style, it can take a while.
Yeah.
It really can. So maybe they will give them the benefit of the doubt, but tonight's a big result. They need a big result, West Ham, tonight.
They really do, don't they? There is so much riding on this fixture here at the London Stadium. It is only December as well. It actually seems the destinies of these two men in the dugout are really inextricably linked. Gary O'Neill, of course, as we've been talking about, took over from Julian Lopetegui at Wolves just 3 days before the start of the new Premier League season. The club seemed to be in disarray at that time. He kept them alive, he kept them thriving in the division, but this campaign has been anything but a fairy tale, hasn't it? The bubbles are blowing here at the London Stadium, but for Julian Lopetegui, will they burst at any point soon? The promise was excitement, the promise was progressive football, the West Ham way after David Moyes left. It hasn't really turned out that way, and now both of these managers' jobs are at risk. There is a big game to play before we know anything about anything that could happen with the jobs in the dugouts. So let's hand you over to our commentary team as the players get ready, and they are out on the pitch right now. Lots of tributes here to Mikel Antonio as well. The players still wearing his number 9 shirts, and with the crowd getting G'd up, and I say with the bubbles still flowing here, I'm going to hand you over to our commentary team, the former Tottenham, Fulham and England midfielder Danny Murphy, but first Talksport's chief commentator, football commentator, I should say, Sam Matterface.
Thank you, Reshman. Good evening, everyone. I suppose if the news about Mikel Antonio tells us anything, is that you can take nothing for granted. It reminds us that however important it is to all of us, it is, as Jurgen Klopp said, only the most important, least important thing of all. Our best wishes to him and his family as he watches on from a hospital bed today as his team look to try and earn 3 points at the London Stadium. But games do matter, big games matter, and because not only do they toy with our emotions, but the results get managers the sack. And if you scan the list of those expected by the bookmakers to lose their jobs next, then Julian Lopetegui and Gary O'Neill would be the first names that you come across. West Ham and Wolves both lost last weekend and in midweek, and not many did that. And the underlying data makes about as pretty a reading as the league table. West Ham promised the earth, have crashed back down to it. Wolves are only off the bottom because Southampton are propping them up. But the key thing is mood, and if there was a league table for that, these two would be rock bottom. It is a season to be jolly though, and always here to brighten the mood is Danny Murphy. If reports are right and Lopetegui has to win to save his job, how does he go about it?
Well, you get the front players on the ball as often as possible and as quickly as possible, because that front three are really talented. You've got Bowen, who can score goals, as we know, from anywhere. Somerville loves running at people. Kudus is a live wire. He can beat you, he can run behind you without the ball. So I'd be looking at, don't give yourself any problems overplaying at the back. Get the ball to that front three as often as possible, because this Wolves team have struggled defensively recently.
There are subplots. Lopetegui left Wolves because he said they couldn't stay up. He switches 2 from midweek. O'Neill, once a West Ham player who helped them to promotion, has changed 3 from the 4-0 defeat at Everton. Our referee is John Brooks. West Ham in claret with blue sleeves and white shorts attacking the goal away to our right, and Wolves in all gold and black attacking the goal away to our left. Over on Talksport 2 right now, Wolverhampton against Peterborough from League One, one of our festive 50 on the Talksport network. And we are live at the London Stadium with Carlos Soler in possession on halfway, dispossessed over on the far side by Matt Doherty. It goes into midfield where Lamina is waiting for it, and then it's taken up towards Cunha just short of the halfway line. It's interesting to see the way that they have shaped up tonight, with Totti in the back line alongside Santi Bueno, and it looks like Andre has dropped into the back line as well. Semedo, has dropped into the back line as well, with Doherty playing as a right wing back and Ike Nouri as a left wing back. So it is a bit of a shift and a change around for Gary O'Neill's team. And Totti clears the ball from inside the 18-yard box. Strand Larsen wrestles with Mavropanos. It's forward by Kilman, the former Wolves player. Lamina into the air, back in central midfield today after a spell in the back line. Cunha brings it down, tries to push away Alvarez, and then in the centre of the ball is picked up by Andre. Should be entertaining. Not many teams have the number of shots and conceding as many shots as West Ham United do combined. It is amazing, isn't it, that Lopetegui's pivotal fixture is one against his former club, and that the man who proved him wrong is now the one who's one wrong result away from being sacked himself. But it is the intrigue that captivates us all, but now it's about delivering on the pitch.
Yeah, it's intriguing looking at the way Wolves have set up, actually, to see the role of João Gomez and Matheus Cunha. How they're going to do that, how they're going to support. It looks like at the moment those two are playing as 2 10s, if you like, narrow, with Andre and Lamina supporting them behind, which should give Larsen some good support when they do get the ball to him. But let's see how it goes.
Andre spreads the ball towards the far side. João Gomez runs down the inside right channel. Doherty scoops the ball into the penalty area. Kilman comes across, gets there ahead of Strand Larsen, and actually it was Mavropanos who got there ahead of him and scooped it towards the far side and out for a throw-in level with the edge of the penalty area. We've played just a handful of minutes here at the London Stadium. There's quite a few empty seats still inside this old Olympic ground. Floodlights are on. There's a huge distance between the near touchline and the first row of supporters. There's an even bigger distance between us and the back row of that first tier. We're high up in the second tier, just right at the halfway line, yards and yards away from the pitch. There is a problem here for Matheus Cunha, who's gone up with a header to try and beat Souček to it. I think there was a clash of heads there, Danny.
Well, I saw him frantically waving his arms around, which means he's hurt. I think if you're really badly hurt, you don't tend to wave your arms about, but he has taken a whack. Yeah, maybe it's a head.
Well, the ball was played up by Totti into the middle part of the
it's a head.
It was actually a clash of heads with Mavropanos. Souček was the closest to him and went across just to make sure he was all right. It was on the side of the head for Matthias Cunha. And it is going to be a pause in play. John Brooks, our referee, just checking on the prognosis of Matthias Cunha, who gets back to his feet. And there'll be an uncontested drop ball in the middle of the park.
That was a bit dramatic, wasn't it?
It was a bit.
Wowzers.
Yeah, but it hurt, though.
I know, but waving his arm, I thought he was going to have to come off. He's up now, he's fine. Maybe I'm just tough.
Well, you're just a hard fella, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know?
You're right.
Well, it's hence why you've just moved across and sat next to the heater. 0-0, and we've played nearly 5 minutes. You're listening to Talksport live at the London Stadium. West Ham United desperate for a victory, and Wolverhampton Wanderers trying to claw their way out of the bottom three. West Ham's boss, Julian Lopetegui, used to be the boss at Wolves. Header on by Bowen, got there ahead of Doherty, who didn't get there and compete enough for it. It breaks to the left. Somerville jinking in from that left-hand side, tries to feed the ball into Souček, only half cleared by Wolves, breaks on the edge of the box left side for Carlos Soler, and it goes to the gloved fists of Crescencio Somerville again, who's playing on that left-hand side tonight with Kudus playing on the right. They go back into Kilman, who strokes it down the left touchline. Emerson gives it back again, and the pace goes out of the West Ham United attack. But there was a moment there, the ball was nodded on by Bowen, where it looked like that maybe Somerville was going to escape. Emerson has it 2 yards in from the left touchline, takes it down out of the sky, strokes it back to halfway, remains goalless on Talksport. Wolves fans thought that Gary O'Neill wouldn't survive after the Everton defeat, a crushing 4-0 defeat at Goodison Park. But an hour before he was due to talk to the media on Thursday, he was nominated for Manager of the Month in the Premier League.
It's too easy that, Sam. Sorry to interject, but what you find is when a team plays like Wolves are, with inverted wingers, if you like, trying to support the front man, the West Ham fullbacks, the two fullbacks in a back four, get out free because the Wolves wing backs can't go high too early. So we're going to see Wan-Bissaka and Emerson with a lot of the ball. Now Gary O'Neill might not mind that from deeper areas, but it's an easy get out for them.
Ball cleared by Sam Johnson, back in the team today, right through the middle of the pitch. It drops in to the path of Souček, who gives it straight back to Wolves, who have it on halfway. And it's played forward into the path of Lamina. Lamina back to the far side, and it takes a little flick and goes out for a throw in which Doherty will take over on that far touchline, just a couple of yards, a couple of steps really in the West Ham half. It goes all the way back to Sam Johnston again, and then they'll look to build, and then the clearance from Johnson is a little bit befuddling, and it almost invites a Bowen challenge. Santiago Bueno leaves a little bit on Jared Bowen, who goes tumbling out of the playing surface and into the advertising hoardings.
Gary O'Neill's fuming. He's fuming because that was so silly. You're playing little intricate passes when the press is on. You don't need to. You can just miss the press out. They've got a monster of a striker up there, and next to him you've got Matheus Cunha, who's a big boy as well. You know, why give yourself the problems? Honestly, I'm all for playing when you can play, but they're not that confident at the moment. Take away that pressure on the back players that they don't really want it there anyway.
And what they've done is given away a set piece over on the far side, which came about because Bueno fouled Bowen as he went over towards the far touchline to press him when the ball was played back poorly to him over on that far touchline. And now they've got to defend a set piece. In towards the near post it goes. It's flicked off Alvarez, came through to Bowen, he didn't control it, and it bobbles out the other side. Back in it goes towards Crescencio Somerville, down the left side of the box, tries to jink across towards the far post, looking for Souček. He heads it back to the edge of the area, right-footed shot by Kilman, is blocked, and it's cleared away into the midpoint of the Wolverhampton Wanderers half, and West Ham building again and building up a little bit of head of steam here. They want to give away too many set pieces because they conceded 4 up at Goodison Park, trying to knit a passage of play together. Bowen does well, wins it back after initially giving it away on the edge of the box, comes back out to Doherty, and Wolves look to clear now, but Alvarez goes across and snaps into a tackle with João Gomez. It goes out of play and away for a throw-in over on that far side.
Good start from Somerville, looks really bright, really positive, good sharp feet, going at players, little give and go with Bowen there. It's good defending from Semedo, tracked the run lovely. but he started brightly, Somerville.
Semedo is playing in the back three tonight. In the absence of Craig Dawson, who's been left out this evening. I mean, he is a great servant, a great leader, but he is 35, Craig Dawson. And athletically getting around the park in a big Premier League game is always going to be difficult. Lamina has closed down Kudus inside the centre circle, nudges it back into the middle of the West Ham half. It's back with the slender figure of Alvarez, then out to Mavropanos, who played well for Greece in the 2 games against England, especially in that first one at Wembley. Then again, he didn't have a striker to mark. He has certainly got one today. He's got Strand Larsen to worry about. Well, we played 9 minutes, and that means that the whole stadium rises in support of number 9, Mikel Antonio. Here come West Ham down the right. Wan-Bissaka into the penalty area, tries to nudge it into the edge of the 6-yard box. A little tight ball which is behind Bowen. It's cleared by Wolves and out towards the far side. Collected by Doherty, and then he runs it down the touchline. Yeah, everyone of a West Ham persuasion inside the stadium applauding as they pay tribute to their stricken friend Mikel Antonio, who is injured, had surgery on a fractured lower limb at the weekend. Jim White breaking the story this morning that it might be up to a year before he works out whether or not he's going to be able to play again, and our best wishes are to him and his family.
Yeah, absolutely, nice moment. And just before that, they nearly scored. Played through Wolves too easily again.
Wolves have got a real problem with their defence, and it hasn't been healed by the changes that they've made. Here's Lamina trying to win it in midfield. Semedo up to João Gomez.
Better.
Lovely little turn. He's got men over on this left-hand side. One of them is Ant Nouri. He spreads it towards the left edge of the penalty area. Ant Nouri comes forward, feeds Cunha, who tries to nudge it back to him, but it was stopped by Wan-Bissaka, who's well positioned, and then Kudus can't hold on to it, and Wolves win it back high up inside West Ham territory. They're attacking the goal away to our left. Cunha flies it out to Doherty. A beautiful ball collected by the Irishman, who chests it down, moves into the box, delivers across, aims it towards João Gomez, but it's cleared away by Souček. And a bit of respite for the West Ham defence, but not for long, because it's been turned over again, and it's been recirculated by Andre, and Wolves have got it back, and that's the best bit of play we've seen from Wolves.
It was really good break, nice and intricate again through the lines. Got João Gomez on it again here,
and here he is poking it through into Larsen, who returns it. And he just tried a little bit too much there, I think, to try and rush that ball forward to Strand Larsen. But
you see, the thing is, when Wolves get good possession, well, we talked about the West Ham fullbacks getting out when they've got possession, but conversely, if Kudus and Somerville don't do their job and help Wan-Bissaka and Emerson, then Doherty and Ant Nouri will have great joy, because Wan-Bissaka can't come out too early because they've got the 3. They've got Cunha there, he's got to keep an eye on, so it can work both ways, but just got to be a bit more patient there, Gomez. When you sustained pressure is what you need in games like this, and he just got a bit rash, silly ball over the top. Now West Ham have got it again.
Yeah, and Bowen is skipping away from Lamina and driving forward, then Lamina does brilliantly to win it back and then send it down towards halfway. Collected by Cunha. Alvarez comes across, tight to the near touchline. They're inside the West Ham half. He jinks in between Wan-Bissaka and Alvarez, and then gets it back after a poor pass initially because Emerson didn't clear it properly. Doherty swings it into the centre. It's high, looping. Strand Larsen is challenging for it, but he's beaten in the air by Mavropanos on the edge of the box, and then West Ham look to get out with Kudus, who scampers towards this near touchline, realises there's nowhere to go, and has to go back to Wan-Bissaka in the right full-back position. It remains 0-0.
Problem is with Wolves, when Doherty had the ball there, he was in another good position, but there's only
Strand Larsen
Strand Larsen in the box.
That's because
Gomez and Cunha have got a busted gut to get in there and support him and help him.
Well, on that occasion, Cunha had dropped off and instigated that move, so it had to be João Gomez who got up and tried to help out.
You say that, I was watching him, Sam. He played the pass, and they call it admiring the pass.
And he just had a look at it.
You must have had it when you're young and the coach says, stop admiring your pass. I used to get it all the time.
I didn't really have many passes to admire.
Well, all right, I was trying to be nice. But stop admiring your pass. It's like, oh, yes, and then you got to go make a run, and Cunha sometimes just starts admiring his passing.
You're listening to West Ham 0, Wolves 0 on Talksport with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like West Ham versus Wolves, live right now. Search Now Sports. Talksport, 14 minutes gone. Ball clipped down the left side, looking for Strand Larsen. It's headed away by Mavropanos. I did have it today, actually. I played a paddle shot right down the middle of the... and it sort of landed beautifully, and I watched it. I thought, yeah, that's it. That's a winner. I stood there, looked at it, and then the geezer recovered and put it over my head.
I bet he wasn't a geezer. Geezers don't play paddle. I bet he was one of your middle-class friends.
He was an Italian bloke,
Hale Barnes.
And it was
somewhere
in
like that. What? Oh, it was in Shoreditch. Yeah. Okay, well, oh, God, that's worse. Shoreditch. What, does he live there?
I don't know.
Yeah, I bet he does. Owns 4 restaurants and plays paddle in the afternoon.
Does that mean you don't fancy a game?
No.
0-0. Ball is with Fabianski on the edge of the D. It's flicked on towards Bowen. It was missed by Bueno, and Bowen looked as if he was going to sneak in behind there. Just a long straight ball through the middle of the pitch, which was flicked on, and Bowen just tried to get on the end of it after a bit of hesitation from Santiago Bueno. And that's a good ball forward by Lamina, which isn't going to quite reach Cunha, and it's going to be turned away by Mavropanos, and then Wan-Bissaka, and then Kudus will tidy up. I mean, you look at the statistics for Wolverhampton Wanderers, they're not good. They've won just 3 of their last 24 Premier League games since March, which is, for context, half as many as any other ever-present team. That's not a good statistic.
It's not, no, but you've got to try and overturn and not worry about it. It's relevant. But you look at areas this season where I've done okay. That has been in attacking areas. So tonight we're looking at them from more of a defensive point of view, and because they've been struggling so much. And sorry, I was just watching that attack.
Some of them goes down the left-hand side, tries to get the cross in, and goes out for a corner.
It does look, Sam, like they are trying. So we talked about it before the game. It seems to me that the wing backs will go when there's space, but generally they're protecting. You've got the 2 central midfielders screening. They are trying to stay in this game. It's not as cavalier as I've seen them in other games.
No, scoring goals isn't a problem for Wolves, but conceding them certainly is. Here is the corner over on the far side, and set-piece routines have been a problem for them. It's deep towards the far post, and sneaking around the back was Kilman, who heads it straight against Totti, who brings it clear and plays it off Bowen on this near side. Bowen tries to keep it in. Totti wins it. He's got to look up now and play the ball. He comes infield, does brilliantly, finds Strand Larsen, whose footwork is good as well. It's a little bit behind Doherty, but he's combined brilliantly with Gomez, and then tries to get released on the counter-attack. And it was enterprising play from Wolverhampton Wanderers, and it almost yielded a chance, and it still might, because Semedo has nipped in and taken the ball. He sends it down the right. He gets it back again on the edge of the penalty area. He sends it into the path of Lamina, who wants to work it wide to Aït-Nouri, but then comes infield instead and shoots from distance. And the Hollywood effort never really materialised, and it flies over the top of the crossbar.
He's capable. It's worth from there. He had loads of space. He just didn't strike it well, but it was worth the effort. It was a good break again. Really good. Totti did phenomenally well there, winning the ball back and then keeping his composure. Little pass inside and they were away. It's just a shame it wasn't Mateus Cunha on that through ball rather than Doherty.
Wolves have scored the same number of goals as Fulham this season, 22, more than Newcastle, more than Manchester United, but they have the worst defence in the country, and that's the problem. And that will encourage West Ham, although they had 31 shots against Leicester, and it took them until their 30th effort to score through Nico Füllkrug. Here is João Gomez at the other end, as Wolves just starting to grow into the game after a bright start from West Ham. 17 gone, 0-0 on Talksport. A tangle between João Gomez and Kudus.
God.
Free kick goes against.
Sorry, that drives me insane.
Why?
He's got him pinned in. He's lost the ball. Fine, you've lost the ball. You've dilly-dallied on it too long and you've lost it. But then don't give a foul away when the West Ham player's in his own corner. Just ill-discipline. Dives in, tries to win it off Kudus, and you just let them off the hook. It's just that game intelligence, Sam, sometimes. You see it and it's like, why would you do that?
And you do get that when you've got younger and inexperienced players. He's 23 years of age, João Gomez.
I know, but come on.
A lot of these players playing in the Premier League for the first time. Strand Larsen, Gomez, Andre. Totti's been around a little bit, but hasn't had too many appearances for Wolves over the course of the tenure that he's been here. He actually wasn't even a footballer at 16. Totti was a rugby player until he was 16, and by 24 he was a Portuguese full international. That's some transition.
Wow. You were good at rugby, weren't you?
I was definitely not. That is definitely not my sport.
Oh, God, I don't know the answer to that.
It's the build, I think. Here is Somerville picking it up midway inside Wolves territory. He scampers forward. He tries to glide between two challenges. Gets down the right side of the box. He's challenged by Totti. He wanted a foul. He didn't get one. It spilled out the penalty area and went down the outside. Across comes Ait Nouri. Collides with Soucek. He dived in. Both of them collided. The foul goes against Soucek. It's going to be a free kick in the left full-back position to Wolverhampton Wanderers.
It's all good for Wolves, this. Stop, start, slow it down, have your little breakaways, don't let West Ham get momentum. We talked about the fans' frustration earlier. That'll come if they keep doing this. Just keep it scrappy. Don't be too cavalier in your attacks. After that initial burst from West Ham, they've just seemed to calm themselves down, Wolves, and found their rhythm a little bit.
Well, they don't score enough goals. They rank 9th through the amount of shots in the Premier League, which is quite high, but they rank only 16th on goals, which tells you that their shot conversion rate is terrible. It's 8.74, which is not good enough, and certainly amongst the lowest. Here is a cross into the box from João Gomes. It's a heavy one. It's too high. It'll run through the other side. But Ait Nouri's done well enough to scamper to keep it alive. Down by the corner flag. Finds Cunha. Kudus with a half-hearted challenge. Sends the ball back to Ait Nouri. And now Lemina's got it 15 yards from the penalty area. Wide on the Wolverhampton Wanderers left. As they build once again. And they creep into this game. Slowly but surely. 20 minutes gone. Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. West Ham 0, and it's back in field once again to Andre, who pokes it down the right side, looking for Strand Larsen, but he's out of the centre of the goal now. He clips it into the box. It's headed away by Wan-Bissaka. Cunha trying to keep it alive. There's a real tangle of legs on the edge of the box, but it's come through to João Gomes, who hits it right-footed. It's deflected, and our first shot on target is captured by Lucas Fabianski.
Good attack from Wolves, but wrong ball from João Gomes on the edge of the box, and Matt Doherty's in.
Here's Wan-Bissaka charging forward on this near side, the right, trying to get up towards the edge of the penalty area. He gives it to Bowen. It goes back on the outside. Wan-Bissaka has it again on the overlap. Alvarez is coming here. He waited, didn't play it to him, clipped it into the box instead. It was headed away by Bueno, and now it's picked up by Cunha. Cunha tries to tuck it round the corner away from Mavropanos and tried to charge behind him, but the Greek was cute there. Shielded the ball and sent it back down the right, and West Ham have got possession again. Not for very long. They've gifted it back, and Cunha is so good in tight areas, plays it into Bueno, and now Strand Larsen. Cunha's slow in getting up alongside him, so they have to go backwards rather than forward, and there is that handbrake that Danny was talking about. Not as cavalier as they have been, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and keeping hold of possession and a bit of game management for Wolves.
It was good. Matheus Cunha's got to try and keep his energy up, though. He's having a few breathers out there. He needs to keep supporting Strand Larsen, sorry. Get me names wrong tonight. Is it Doherty or Doherty?
We're going with Doherty. I think if you say it the way it's supposed to, it's Doherty.
Okay.
Yeah. It's good for you to check. It's nice of you to ask.
Well, I didn't want to keep saying it wrong, because I seem to get that one. That's one of mine. I get muddled up.
Well, I've read so many reports that Lopetegui has got to win all 4 of his games in December to keep his job. It feels like West Ham have already sort of moved on, and they're buying themselves a little bit of time. And I don't think the opening 22 minutes would have done them much favours. And certainly hasn't done him many favours. And the transition from David Moyes to Lopetegui has sort of run aground. The former Spain boss was supposed to appease the fans with a different style. Not that he's renowned for that, but they sit 14th in the Premier League, only 4 wins so far. Here's Carlos Soler.
I'm surprised the intensity from West Ham hasn't been a bit better without the ball.
Well, you would expect them to be working on that in training and trying to sort of improve their sort of, almost their symbiotic movements. They don't move together as one, do they? They sort of go in fits and starts. Here is Soucek trying to work it down the right. Might come to Bowen here. Gets the shot away. Stopped by Johnson. It wasn't a great shot. It was blocked. And they go again down this right-hand side. Bowen looks as if he was offside, but the referee and the assistant have allowed play on. They combine on the edge of the box. Send it back in towards the edge of the penalty area. It's released down the right, flicked towards the back post. Kilman up with a header in towards the edge of the box. It flicks behind off a Wolverhampton Wanderers defender and goes out for a corner to West Ham United. 0-0.
Yeah, a little warning for them there. A bit sloppy, wasn't it, the defending? Even this last cross here, Aït-Nouri got to bust a gut to get out there and stop the cross. It was too easy.
Well, it's still goalless, and it's another chance from the far left to swing a corner in for West Ham United. And it's going to be Crescencio Somerville, sends it short to Kudus, and then back towards Alvarez, and then that chance is gone, and the fans aren't happy about that. Wan-Bissaka sends it back towards the left. It's a heavy ball, and it's headed down by Crescencio Somerville. And then eventually Kudus wriggles his way past two defenders, and then a challenge comes in from Semedo, and there's a chance to break here, and it's Wan-Bissaka against Cunha in a foot race, and Cunha's got there first, and then he comes in field. He's got support from Larsson. He's midway inside the West Ham half. He feeds Larsson, who tries to take it in his stride but can't quite reach it, and Alvarez does enough to hold him off, and it goes back to Fabianski. But that came from a West Ham corner.
Came from brilliant defending from Semedo. Yeah, it was a short corner. Fans got unhappy. I was surprised. You're playing a team that struggles on defending set plays, and what you do is you take a short one. I mean, have you not talked about that in the dressing room? You've not worked on it? Bizarre. But it was brilliant defending from Semedo. João Gomez, again, poor. That was. Semedo got him off the hook there with his poor defending against Kudus. And the breakaway was really good, so close to being a decent opportunity for them.
Well, 4 shots from West Ham, 2 from their opponents so far, 1 effort on target each, but it remains goalless on Talksport. Ball cleared by Fabianski up to halfway. It's missed by Wan-Bissaka, and it goes out for a throw-in towards level with the halfway line. In fact, level with that big West Ham crest, which is in between the two dugouts. To the left of that huge crest down in front of us, on the carpet between the touchline and where the dugouts are, where the seats are for the coaching staff, it says the Academy of Football on a claret bit of asphalt, founded in 1895. Here is João Gomez playing it square into Andre working it wide right for Wolverhampton Wanderers in that old goal. Doherty sends it back centrally onto Lamina, slides it down the left, looking to feed Cunha, who strike from distance, and Fabianski was interested, dropped down to his right hand side, the shot from the edge of the box, he caught it, and Fabianski went sliding to save it. He quickly bowled it out to Somerville over on the far touchline, who goes over the halfway line, then plays it back to Soler, and then it's all the way back to Kilman, and it remains goalless. That was a good chance.
It was okay, it was measured build up. Cunha got it out of his feet and he hit it okay, but it was never really troubling Fabianski.
He's been a good servant, Fabianski.
Yeah,
he's had to be called upon this season after the handling issues that Areola had in that Tottenham Hotspur game. They switched him out after that, and he has been the custodian ever since. Bit of a tangle between João Gomez over on the far side and Emerson.
Yeah, João Gomez He's full of good intent.
Bit rash.
He's just too keen at the moment, and you can't win every ball. You've just got to get yourself in position and keep them ahead of you. Just keep it so you can see the ball. You've got your man. He's trying to win it too early, too often. Just needs one of the other players to say to him, calm down, because you know how good West Ham are at set plays.
Souček to aim at in the centre. They've got Mavropanos and Kilman up from the back as well. The ball's delivered in towards the near post by Soler from the wide left-hand side. It wasn't a great delivery. It was dealt with well by Wolves, and Sam Johnson comes charging out of his goal to the halfway line as the ball settles in the West Ham half after a good clearance, and says to his backline, get out. And he forces them up the pitch, and he's done that. And West Ham have got it on halfway, and it's a poor ball out towards its near side, but well read by Doherty and headed up on this near touchline towards the halfway line again. And they're just keeping West Ham at arm's length once more.
It's a bit more measured, the defending, than I've seen them in recent weeks, Wolves. West Ham got in a couple of times, but they've got good shape, good numbers behind the ball.
Somerville trying to spring that back line. He does that. He sends the ball towards Soler, who slides it goalwards, and then across comes Aït-Nouri and produces a brilliant block.
Curse of the commentator. Simple running behind, nobody tracked him. Soler. Great little ball as well from Somerville. Aït-Nouri does well because he's the one that's played him on side. Gets himself across just to block that shot from Soler, but it was a good run.
Well, he's also coming from the wrong side because him and Doherty had switched from the previous corner. Here is the corner from this near touch line. Emerson will take it for West Ham United. Right under the goalkeeper, flicked away by Strand Larsen. Good strong header. It runs out to the far side. Totti can't prevent it from going out for another corner, and they'll get another chance here, West Ham, to create a chance. It's 0-0 on Talksport. One of the things you can't question Wolves for is their effort. They've certainly put that in. Here's Somerville from a short corner, poking it back to Soler, who strikes goalwards. It's blocked by his own player Bowen. Flicked away by Bueno and up towards halfway again.
Well, to be fair, Sam, we should never be questioning players' effort. What I would say is Matheus Cunha, who I am a big fan of, has got to do a bit more without the ball. Everyone else is running around doing the work, and he's a bit, I'll wait till I get the ball, till I liven up. Standing out a little bit in their defensive displays. He's not really doing the work like the others.
He's certainly a big contributor for Wolverhampton Wanderers.
I love him. And maybe he's been told, don't do too much chasing about. That's why we've got other people in the team, because they want him to win games for them. But his body language a little bit at times without the ball.
It certainly does that. Between him and Strand Larsen, they've scored 13 of the 22 Premier League goals that Wolves have managed this season. Larsen also very good at holding the ball up too. But they have given the ball away here. A free kick over on the far side, a set piece, which again is in a dangerous area. Another moment where they've engaged a little bit too eagerly, and this time it's Matt Doherty on Somerville over on the far side, and it does just give West Ham another chance, and they're not going to keep misfiring.
They're giving too many free kicks away.
Yeah. Here is the free kick to be taken by Emerson, who's got good delivery with his left foot. He'll swing this into the edge of the penalty area. It's aimed in towards Souček, who flicks it on, but there's no one at the back post, and it will dribble out and away for a goal kick away to our right-hand side.
I think Gary O'Neill will be reasonably pleased with the first half. They've had a couple of little scares, but managed the game quite well. Just a bit more quality on those counters, and they would have got themselves an half-decent chance or two, but West Ham need to do a bit more. They're the home team. Set the tempo, get this crowd going. It's your responsibility as a home team.
Just looking at Sean Derry and Gary O'Neill just moments before they reset for this goal kick. They were screaming, they were shouting, they were trying to urge their team or get instructions onto their team. Desperate to try and win this game tonight. Craig Dawson gets a ripple of applause as he goes to warm up away to our left-hand side. The ball is cleared up towards the halfway line, chested down by Cunha. Cunha does brilliantly and sends it back into the left wing back, and Ain't Nori goes back to Totti, and then it's all the way back to Sam Johnson in the goal away to our right. He clears it left-footed upfield. Strand Larsen heads it down brilliantly by João Gomez, and then back in from Cunha to Strand Larsen, who swings the ball out to the far side, and Doherty takes it on, gets to the edge of the penalty area, produces the cross. Strand Larsen tries to get there, so does João Gomez, but neither of them can connect with the ball, and João Gomez puts his head in his hand because he knows he's had a great opportunity to put Wolverhampton Wanderers in the lead.
Well, it's the best move of the match, and it started from Matheus Cunha holding the ball up. Good little bit of intricate play.
That's good football.
Yeah, that's brilliant football. Great crossing from Doherty. Do you know what? I can't criticise João Gomez. He's burst in there. He's determined to get there, and he just tries to let it hit his foot rather than really push it in. It's a bad miss.
Ball down the left as West Ham look to respond. Bowen into the penalty area. Brilliant tackle by Santiago Bueno, who went sliding across the greasy turf and blocked the attempted centre from Jared Bowen. And it goes out for a corner over on the far side. Another one for West Ham United, who have conceded as many chances as they've created tonight.
That was some chance.
Gary O'Neill pulling what little hair he's got left out. Here is Somerville with the delivery in towards the middle of the 6-yard box. It drops kindly for Bowen. He couldn't get it under control first time. He recycles it back to the edge of the area. Kudus tries to feather it towards the far post. Shoveled away by Sam Johnson. And Souček can't get hold of the rebound. And it goes behind and away for another corner to West Ham. What a chance.
Yeah, arguably West Ham's best chance. Just recycle the corner. Kudus... Matheus Cunha's pulled his foot away there just to let him shoot rather than try and make the block. Maybe wary of giving a penalty away, but still.
Strange decision.
Very strange.
And Johnston makes the save. And it's a big save. And Mohamed Kudus has come closest for West Ham United, just after João Gomez should have put Wolverhampton Wanderers in the lead. 12 minutes to go before half-time. This is Talksport. Over on Talksport 2, more live football for you tonight. Comes from League One. And currently, Northampton lead by 1-0 against Peterborough. Ball in towards the near post, and it's right under the crossbar, and Sam Johnston has to punch it behind.
He doesn't have to, he can catch it.
Be nice to the goalkeeper.
Let him off, actually. I'll take that back.
You changed your mind now you've seen the replay. Anyway, short corner. Kudus, back post, looking for Kilman. Heads it down. It falls kindly on the edge of the box for Mavropanos, who slipped as he went to hit it, and he heads it over the top of the crossbar. Well, he was leaning back, and he hit that with the top of his shin, I think, and it went over the top of the bar.
Well, Souček's causing all sorts of problems. Lemina's trying to... It might have been Kilman actually on the back post, just looking at the replay. Yeah, it's Kilman. Not sure why Andre's marking Kilman, because he's about 4'1", but lucky for Wolves there. Slip from Mavropanos. The set plays again, though, Sam.
They do look like they're going to concede from a set play, as they did against Everton on Wednesday night. And they concede a lot of goals. Wolves, only 2 teams in Premier League history have conceded more goals after 14 games of a season. Barnsley in 1997-98 and Sheffield United last season. You know what happened to those 2 teams, and all those sort of stats point to relegation. And Wolves don't want that, and they need to find a way to change it. And that's the key area of improvement. They've played some enterprising football again tonight. Haven't quite got on the score sheet yet. It remains 0-0. And there's 10 minutes to go before half-time. There'll be good things, I think, that Gary O'Neill takes from this first 45, but there'll be some concerns too. What will Julian Lopetegui be feeling about his team's opening 35 minutes?
I think he'll want to see more tempo, play a bit quicker with a bit more urgency, because when they have done that in the final third, and you've got Somerville and Kudus going past people and trying to be inventive, and Brady got Bowen in and Soler in once, got to create a bit more urgency.
But their build-up has been like this all season, hasn't it? Slow, lethargic. There hasn't been much tempo in the build-up. They bring the ball out very patiently from the back. Now they've released, Mavropanos has released Bowen down this right-hand side. Lovely cross into the centre, and before it can reach Souček, it's tucked behind by Semedo, and it's out and away for another corner kick. They are racking them up.
It's too easy to get in with a straight ball. Bueno's playing them all onside. He's 5 yards deeper than everybody else, which means anyone running in behind is going to be onside. That's maybe a little problem when you keep changing the back line. I know he's at 2 with injuries, but if you consistently changing that back line, the communication, the position, all those little partnerships.
That was certainly the problem there. Bueno just wandered back into a deeper position. The cross comes in from Emerson at the near post, flicked away again by Semedo. It'll go out for corner number 9 for West Ham in this first half. And there are still quite a few minutes to go before we get to the break. Here is the corner kick to be taken on this near touchline by Emerson. It's a congested 6-yard box. They go short again. There's groans from the crowd, and it's definitely not full in here tonight, that is for sure. Flicked back in by Soler, away by Doherty, drops on the edge of the D. Turning it forward is Mavropanos, but he's given it away. He's won it back again. He's fed Kudus down the right side, tries to take on Semedo. He clips the ball towards the far post, an easy header away by Totti, and then it's picked up by Kilman, who charged forward in front of João Gomez. Lemina then puts it out. It's out for a throw over on the far side.
Strand Larsen is a lucky man, trying to dribble past people on the edge of his own box.
You're listening to West Ham United 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs. And remember, we've got more live football for you tomorrow from the Champions League. We're wall-to-wall with football over the next few days and weeks. Our December is jam-packed. It's stuffed like Santa's sack. 50 games over the course of December. And loads tomorrow and Wednesday from the Champions League, and then Thursday night, what a night that is. Manchester United, Chelsea in Europa League and Europa Conference League action, then Rangers against Tottenham Hotspur in the Europa League. Here is Lemina, far side the Wolverhampton Wanderers right. He's just managed to tuck that infield to Andre, who's wandered into a cul-de-sac, giving it back to Doherty, and now Semedo, and then Andre. They've played it out well now, up into the middle of the West Ham half, where they're looking to find Ain't Nouri. It was played in by João Gomez. Cunha's continued his run into the centre. Strand Larsen's in there as well. Ain't Nouri gets into a good position, tries a shot, ricochets almost kindly, and then comes back on the edge of the penalty area. West Ham don't get it clear, and now it's Semedo, right-footed, strikes the ball towards the near post, blocked by Kilman, and still West Ham can't get it clear.
Good move again, wasn't it?
Brilliant.
Great play. Lamina, nice and positive, through the lines to Andre, then finding the man in the space. Just that final ball at the moment, when they have those counters, they're getting through a little overload, just can't quite find that little bit of quality, that little bit of guile.
Ball clipped forward by Bueno. Left full-back Emerson deals with it for West Ham before it can reach Semedo. João Gomez is tussling with that Edson Alvarez, and he comes off better, wins the ball. Forward it goes into Cunha. Bit of space for him to run inside the West Ham half. Tries to feed Strand Larsen, but Kilman anticipated that brilliantly and stepped out and won the ball for West Ham, and then sent Kudus away. And he runs at pace over the halfway line, cuts infield, moves into a central area when he should have maybe have gone wide. He's taken on by Kilman, who charges into the box. He runs into the penalty area, tackled by Lamina, spills out to the far touchline, and Somerville, who comes in on his right foot, tries a strike, blocked by Doherty, goes out over on the far side.
Good defending from Wolves, that. Lamina really good. He's been terrific actually, first 39 minutes, Lamina. And Semedo.
Back it comes with West Ham United. 0-0 the score on Talksport. Some good enterprising football from Wolverhampton Wanderers, but no end product, and they've had probably too many wobbles at the back that maybe another side that a little bit more clinical would have taken advantage of. But it is still goalless. Bowen under pressure from Lamina, who's pushed him right out towards the halfway line. Chipped forward by Mavropanos. Wan-Bissaka takes it down well. Ain't Nouri watched it, tucked it clear. And I can tell you that it being 0-0, the latest odds are available at Ladbrokes, where right now you can get West Ham even money to win the game. 19-10 is the draw. 16-5 for a Wolves victory. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes. 18+, BigGambleAware.org. Ain't Nouri heads it back to his goalkeeper, and in that bright pink, fluorescent pink goalkeeping uniform, it's grabbed by Sam Johnson. He'll clear it away. Chilly old night in the east end of London.
It's all right here.
1 or 2, yeah, I'm sure it is, because you're snuggling up to Reshbin in that big heater that you've got there. A couple of those down in front of us have got their big jackets on, hats on tonight, and they're going to get their half-time hot dogs. Somerville still got minutes to play in though, and he scampers down the left, cuts in past Semedo, and then good challenge by Doherty, robs him of the ball. Semedo going up over on the far side, he'll clip it clear, and then Strand Larsen and Kilman will go up for the same ball. There's a little bit of contact from Kilman on Strand Larsen, but it is going to be a Wolverhampton Wanderers throw, nothing more than that, on halfway. Statistics have sort of lent themselves to West Ham's advantage. 10 shots so far to 6 from Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah, I'd say that's about right.
59% possession as well.
I think Wolves have had the best chance of the game, the easiest chance, but West Ham have had 3 or 4 where you think should do better. But there's enough in this game to give Wolves belief, and the longer it goes on, the more anxiety you'll feel from the West Ham supporters.
And that's because they will expect to win this game.
Exactly.
They came here today to win it.
Yeah. And also, like we talked about before, you're talking about a quality squad. They've spent a lot of money. Really good attacking players. Wolves don't have the same bench as West Ham, the same quality to be able to call upon.
And the problem is that they've had a load of shots and not scored again today. They had 31 at Leicester in midweek, a lot of them low quality, yes, and a bit like tonight, you know, none of them really sort of clear-cut opportunities till late on. But they were the first team since Arsenal 7 years ago against Manchester United to lose a game with that many shots, and it was the most shots by a team losing a Premier League away game since Chelsea's 32 in defeat to Birmingham in November 2010.
I don't think that game in isolation would have been a problem for West Ham supporters, because we could all see they dominate for long periods. It's on top of some of the other performances, isn't it? That's the problem.
And that they've had investment, they've had a change of manager. Lamina's slipped and he's given the ball away to Kudus, and Bowen's picked it up and returned it. Kudus into the penalty area, tries to send it goalwards, blocked by Totti, goes back down the outside. Totti does brilliantly again, but Kudus still fighting for it, has it, gets it back to Wan-Bissaka, who's clipped ball to the edge of the penalty, the 6-yard box. Has found Somerville, but Somerville trying to head the ball down towards the near post as he looked at it. Was never going to trouble Sam Johnston. It goes behind and away for a goal kick.
I'll tell you what, Sam, that was outstanding one-on-one defending from Totti. Talk about quick feet, not overcommitting, not doing something rash, staying with your man, being strong. Got Lemina right out of trouble there. Brilliant defending.
He's a promising young defender, isn't he? 1 minute of added time at the end of the first 45.
How old is he?
He is 25 years of age.
So not that young.
He's still relatively young.
Yeah.
Young compared to me and you. Ball cleared away.
Just me and you.
Listen, I'm being taught etiquette today, so I'm not saying another word. Here is Gomez down the right-hand side. Oh, there's a yellow card there. There was a yellow card there over on the far side. I think for Emerson. John Brooks not happy with the challenge that he inflicted. Emerson is pleading his case, but a free kick has been given over on the far side. It was Strand Larsen laying the ball off. Emerson just dangling a foot out at Doherty.
It's not booking. Just coming together, I'm afraid.
I didn't think that was a foul in the first place. But the referee has given the free kick in favour of Wolves right at the end of the first half over on the far side. This is 10 yards inside West Ham territory. It's wide. Cunha flicks it in towards the penalty area. It's only half cleared. Comes back to João Gomez, who couldn't get it under control. He steered it into the path of Totti. 8-0, he goes down the left. There's a lovely ball to the far post. Goes back to Lemina. Edge of the 6-yard box. Hits his own player. Doherty strikes it. It's pinballing around inside the box. Comes back to Doherty. Tries to get a clean strike away. It's blocked. And now Somerville looks to escape.
Hey!
Cunha stands in front of Somerville.
7.
Jumps over the top, spirals, does a little triple Salco, and Cunha gets the yellow card that Somerville was looking for.
That was great. I love a goalmouth scramble. Wolves will be really disappointed because the Lemina shot hit his own player, by the way. And Doherty was trying to be patient, ends up shooting again. Then when they break, Somerville, you know what? I think it's Nouri who gets... No, Mateus Cunha sticks his leg out, and Somerville, he rides the tackle amazingly well. Shows fantastic agility.
He was down on the floor holding the small of his back for a little while there, Somerville, but he's back up now. Here is Fabianski taking the free kick to short of the centre circle. It's headed away brilliantly by Totti, and then played forward for Gomez, who's the wrong side of the West Ham defence for Lopetegui's liking. He's played it out to the right to Semedo when Cunha was running through the middle, and there was a bit of frustration from Cunha there as the first half comes to a close, and certainly there's frustration amongst the West Ham United supporters as well, because Wolverhampton Wanderers have probably shown the more enterprise going forward. They've knitted their passages of play a little bit better together. West Ham have had chances, but Wolves have had the better ones. Both Julian Lopetegui and Gary O'Neill wandered into the London Stadium, needed a big result. At the moment, neither are looking like getting one. At half-time, it is West Ham 0, Wolves 0.
Sam Matterface, thank you very much. Yeah, it is goalless here at the London Stadium, but been quite an entertaining first half. And I have to say, if you're a neutral watching this, you'll think that Wolves are the side that are more likely to get something because of the passages of play, but it's just that quality at the end that's missing.
I think both sides will feel like they've had some decent chances, but I agree with you in that when you watch some of Wolves' movements and some of their playing through the line and their fluidity, they do look more cohesive. They've got. It seems like more attractive football to watch, basically, than West Ham. West Ham's more set plays, second phases, crosses in the box. I think there's improvement for both. I mean, there's lots for Gary O'Neill, especially on an away game. When you go away in the Premier League, you can never, very rarely, you will go a half where you're not under some pressure at some point. I think what Gary O'Neill will be talking about is the positives of how they've played and got to the final third. He want a bit more quality in the end, in the final third as well when they get there. But I think the big message for Gary O'Neill is let's not give as many set plays away, because a large majority of the ones they gave away were needless. It wasn't desperation. It was it was over keenness in the tackling. For J-Lo, I think the message has got to be more urgency. Let's have a go. Let's get this fan base going. It's all a bit tentative. It's a little bit lethargic at times. I know they want to be measured, but you've got to play with more urgency than that to get the fans going. Because, as I said before, their front players are really dangerous.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? It is a little bit flat here, isn't it, at the London Stadium? You don't sort of feel that they're G'ing on their side as much as you'd hope. I still can't get over the J-Lo, by the way. I know that's been said since the beginning of the season, but it just disturbs me.
Well, when you say J-Lo, it doesn't disturb me.
Really?
For obvious reasons, so I don't mind the phrase.
I just can't, put that together. João Gomez, though, what an opportunity he had. That's got to be the best chance of the game, isn't it?
It is, and it was a wonderful, wonderful move and a fantastic cross. And it's hard to be critical when you see a midfielder, he's playing a bit further ahead than midfield, but when you see somebody so intent on trying to get there to score a goal, and I think he's caught between two minds, because really, you take that on the volley, it's a harder technique, but more likely to score, and he's trying to let it drop onto his foot just to guide it in, so he doesn't. The harder you're trying to hit a ball, the more chance you've got of making a mistake. So he's trying to softly caress it in, but he doesn't quite judge the bounce. I feel for him, because it was a great chance, but it's gone. You've got to let it go.
You've got to let it go and move on. And you said it, a goal-mouth scramble as well. That was brilliant to watch, wasn't it? You were just willing Wolves to try and get something from this.
I think a goal would have been great for the game, actually, because obviously we're neutrals here, but from Wolves' perspective, if they'd have scored then, it would have meant West Ham would have had to come out and really fly at them, which would have made the game really open. I still expect West Ham to come out and have a better go than they did then, but it would have been good for the game. And maybe Wolves, as you say, in terms of the nice football, they've edged that. But West Ham will be thinking that they've got there is chances in this game for them.
Yeah, there definitely is, isn't there? It's been, kind of quietly entertaining. You're sort of willing both sides because of the magnitude of this game and what it means for both sides, and certainly for both managers as well. But of course, the most important thing is trying to get 3 points on the board if they can do it. A draw would potentially suit both sides and both managers, for whatever reason. But someone's got to come out and do something in this game in the second half, haven't they?
I think for Wolves it'll be more of the same. There's times in that first half where they were quite measured and slowed the game down a little bit and cute, and you could see the coach shouting on with when they did the goal kick, he was shouting to them, just relax, calm down, which is really good management. I think more of the same for Wolves, and a draw for them away from home with what's been happening wouldn't be the end of the world.
They looked cohesive, didn't they?
They did,
Wolves.
I think
well coached.
I think West Ham.
They'd worked on certain patterns,
they look like
good
shape, and the patterns are good. But West Ham drawing at home to a really out of form Wolves side, I think is not going to be enough to appease these fans.
No, would be potentially a bit of a disaster, wouldn't it, for J-Lo and his band? Like I said, I still can't.
I can't think of another joke, but he'll be back on the block before you know it.
We'll come up with a few more at half-time here at the break. It is goalless at the London Stadium. It is West Ham 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. A huge game here in East London. Stay with us. Second half is up next.
Monday game night on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in 60 minutes or less. So, whatever the job, you can do it with less faffing and more fixing. Less driving, more drilling. So don't break your stride. Screwfix Sprint. Order now exclusively on a Screwfix app. £5 delivery charge, no minimum spend. Don't stop. Sprint. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in. And drink up. Village Hotels. 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
$1.39 at McDonald's gets you a delicious cheeseburger. $1.39 at a concert gets you... Testing. McDonald's Saver Menu. Actually get your money's worth. From 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Price varies on delivery, subject to availability.
Sack the gaffer. You need the sun.co.uk. Bagged a big move?
Check out thesun.co.uk.
Oh, come on, Ralph!
Never a pen? Read thesun.co.uk. Seen red? See thesun.co.uk. Whatever's going on in the game, whenever you want it, wherever you are, from goals to gossip and everything football, it's got to be thesun.co.uk.
We all fantasize about our perfect home, sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Settle down for a night of crime. Witness a heist. Follow a car chase. Eat too much popcorn. Meet a mafia boss. Join in on a bank robbery. Think about making a cup of tea. Be too comfortable to get up. For less.
Selected IKEA sofas are now at a new lower price, along with thousands of other products. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
At Betfair, we believe that to play different, you need the right tools. The boots, the world-class tactics, the science-backed nutrition. The pros have their tools, and with Betfair, so do you. Our safer gambling tools work just like the right pair of boots, designed to keep you on top of your game. Open the Betfair app to equip yourself so you can bet at your best. Betfair. Play different.
18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Monday game night on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. So if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
Mad for it. Monday Night Football. On DAB, online, and on your smart speaker.
This is Game Night
on Talksport.
Good evening, everybody. Brilliant to have your company. You are listening to Monday Game Night here on Talksport, live from the London Stadium. And at half-time, it is West Ham 0, Wolves 0. Of course, a huge game here in East London. The jobs of both managers potentially on the line, depending on what the result might be here. Not a good run for either of these sides. Don't forget, tomorrow the Talksport Darts Championship returns. That's something to keep your eye on. Dean Saunders, he'll be looking to defend his title. It kicks off on H&J from 1 p.m. The final takes place during Drive from 4 p.m. So make sure you tune in. You can watch the whole thing live, by the way, on Talksport's YouTube channel. Okay, let's concentrate on this game then, and let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get money back as a free bet up to £10 if one leg of your Football 5 Plus acca lets you down. Pre-match straight line accas only. Odds of 3-1 or greater. 18 plus. GambleAware.org.
Okay, I've been reliably informed that the odds for this game right now are for West Ham to win 23-20. The draw is 8-5, and for Wolves to win, it's 10-3. Jared Bowen to be the first goal scorer was 5-1. It's now 13-2. And that was the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus, but do be GambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18 plus. GambleAware.org.
Okay, tomorrow night Aston Villa take on RB Leipzig in the Champions League. It's live on Talksport. And ahead of the game, manager Unai Emery has been speaking to Talksport's Gabby Agbonlahor, who asked him how he keeps both Ollie Watkins and John Duran happy.
They're committed now to try to understand each moment for them playing more minutes or less is very, very important. And the next challenge they have is to play with both. As well, we are trying. And I will try again to play with both. And we have to keep the balance tactical in everything, playing as well with both. This is the next challenge. But of course, the first always is the team. The objective we have is as a team and then individually as well. And tomorrow for them as well is a very important match, playing in Europe, playing in Champions League, playing against one team they have very good two strikers, Openda and Sesko. It's a good challenge as well in front them. And this is the really very motivation way we have in everything.
Villa manager Unai Emery there. That is ahead of RB Leipzig taking on Aston Villa tomorrow night in the Champions League. Danny Murphy, I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it, for Ollie Watkins and John Duran, because Ollie Watkins came here, really wasn't as fancied under Steven Gerrard, but Unai Emery came in and said, you are my number one, I'm going to make you the man. Then John Duran comes along and he starts kind of breathing down his neck a bit. Suddenly Ollie Watkins is being taken off during games, and John Duran is coming on and then scoring a screamer here and there. And by all accounts, it seems that John Duran is someone who in the dressing room is pushing for more. He wants a bigger role. How does a manager keep two players of that ilk happy? How does he do it? Have you seen it in your career?
I have, yeah. It's one of two things. Well, it's really good communication and man-to-man managers. All the best managers know how to keep good squad of players happy. So that's good communication and trying to manage game time and huge contracts. So they know Duran is feisty. So they give him a new deal, paid him probably double or treble or quadruple what he's earning. He's got a contract till 2030. I played at Liverpool. I mean, the year we had, I think the year we won the treble in the Cups, we had Heskey, Fowler, Owen, Lippmann. And if you remember United's treble with Yorkie, Cole, Sheringham, Solskjaer,
yeah.
You need that quality, but you have to manage their game time. And I remember Michael Owen sitting on the bench in the League Cup final when we won the first trophy. I mean, he was fuming. But what did he do? He kept his head down, and then he scored in the UEFA Cup final and scored 2 in the FA Cup final. You've got to be big. I mean, every player who's worth their salt wants to play. But they're at different stages in their career as well. But I do think Unai Emery does need to use the squad he's got more. I know he rotated at the weekend more than he has in recent, any other time in the season for a Premier League game. I think Duran scored and started, didn't he? So maybe he's learning in terms of mixing the Premier League and the Champions League, because their Premier League form dipped a little bit, because he's got a hell of a good squad.
Yeah.
And you do, if you keep players motivated by giving them little snippets and games here and there, it keeps the whole atmosphere around the place good. You don't really want a few to start feeling despondent and not part of it.
Yeah. He's got a hell of a squad, and he's also a hell of a manager, isn't he?
He is phenomenal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they went on this 8-game winless run, but they have arrested the slide with a couple of decent results. They're still on the brink of automatic qualification in the Champions League. They started off so brightly in that competition, didn't they, with a 100% record in their first 3 games. It has dipped, and that's all coincided with that winless run as well. So it is all about kind of arresting the slide and bringing momentum back. Adrian Durham is your host actually tomorrow night. Commentary from Joe Shannon and the former Aston Villa captain Andy Townsend. Our coverage of Leipzig against Aston Villa is from 7 o'clock. Kickoff is at 8.
What's up with Adrian? Has he broken a toenail or something?
He just didn't feel like.
Has Adrian broken a toenail or something?
He's got
dropped his wallet on his foot.
Tonsillitis.
Oh, Sam's pretending to be really concerned, where actually he was laughing about a broken nail, weren't you, beforehand?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, good on Adrian. We'll be back tomorrow.
We love you, Adrian.
We love you, Adrian. Looking forward to you coming back here. You can hear I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles singing. Are the West Ham supporters finally going to G up this side and try and get J-Lo, Julian Lopetegui, to mastermind a victory here over Wolves? Both sides under pressure, and the second half is about to kick off. So let me hand you back to Danny Murphy. But first, Sam Matterface.
Well, a win for Wolverhampton Wanderers could lift them to within a point of safety. West Ham currently 14th in the table. Both managers under real pressure as we start the second half. Lucas Paquetá sitting on the bench, watching on from the sidelines as we get underway. And West Ham look for a little bit of creativity, because it wasn't a terrible football match. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't a swashbuckling end-to-end goal fest, but there were chances for both teams, and I reckon probably one of each would have been about right if they'd converted them. But
brilliant!
But here is Ait-Nouri down the left-hand side, looking to fire the ball into the 6-yard box, and he goes right the way through the 6-yard box and misses Doherty. Too heavy for him, but it was a nice little break again. And actually, Wolverhampton Wanderers in the first half coming up with some really neat, quick football, and they'd done that. They worked it from a throw-in on the halfway line, slalomed their way down the left-hand side, and Ait-Nouri's got to find the pass.
That is a wonderful opportunity to give whoever I think it was Strand Larsen a tap in. No, it was Doherty, wasn't it? Sorry.
Yeah.
Just overhit it. I don't know why. just caress it into his path. It's really, maybe he's thinking the keeper's going to come out and try and intercept. I'm not sure, but wonderful opportunity.
Old gold and black for Wolverhampton Wanderers, attacking the goal away to our right. The Sir Trevor Brooking stand away to our right. And West Ham in those claret shirts with light blue sleeves, attacking the goal away to our left, white shorts. The Sir Bobby Moore stand here on the halfway line. I'll go through the 2 11s for you in just a second, but on the halfway line the ball is with Emerson. He runs infield, looks up, plays it into Alvarez. Alvarez, a couple of touches, gets hounded by João Gomez, robbed by João Gomez. Strand Larsen onto João Gomez. Doherty makes a run down the right-hand side, gets towards the edge of the box, tries to feed it in towards Strand Larsen, but it was too easy for Kilman to get away. But there's early frustration for West Ham United, who start with Fabianski in goal. Wan-Bissaka, Mavropanos, Kilman and Emerson the back four. He's been booked. Souček, Alvarez and Soler in the middle of the park, with Somerville and Kudus on the flanks and Bowen through the centre of the goal. Sam Johnson is the Wolves goalkeeper. It's a back three of Semedo, Bueno and Totti. Ain't Nouri and Doherty are the wing backs. Andre, João Gomez and Lemina in midfield, with Cunha and Strand Larsen up top. Foul by Doherty on Alvarez, gives a free kick to West Ham 5 yards inside opposition territory.
I mean, Lucas Paquetá must be watching some of the midfielders for West Ham and thinking, what the hell am I doing on the bench?
Well, he certainly hasn't been as productive when he has been in the team as he was last season.
No, but he's got more class, got more legs, got more creativity, more presence.
But apart from that, here is Emerson, nudging it down the touchline, looking for Somerville. The block comes in. There's a foul by Strand Larsen. The referee didn't quite like it. Free kick has been given. Doherty's going to get a yellow card here for several challenges. Trotting up, I think that's called. And he goes in the book. Free kick to West Ham.
Harsh, very harsh, that one.
Actually, to be honest with you, I didn't even think he caught him initially.
No. Well, he did, but not robustly enough for a yellow. I mean, it wasn't even totting up. I don't understand that.
Well, it wasn't even breaking up a promising attack. It was for a series of fouls. That was the referee's indication. He was counting across the pitch, saying there was one there, one here, one there, and now you're having a yellow card as a result. Matt Doherty. And it did take a couple of seconds before that was communicated to him, which is hence the frustration, I think. We've played nearly 4 minutes of the second half, and Wolves have certainly started it better than West Ham have.
They have.
The ball's back with Fabianski on the edge of the 6-yard box. Strokes it out towards the near side, clips it forward, looking for Somerville. Semedo's going to get there first. Cross comes Lemina, played out towards the near side. Doherty's got it now, back to Semedo. He takes it wide, nudges it down the touchline. Across comes Kilman, out from centre half, and pushes it out of play on this near side. West Ham have won both of the last 2 meetings. In fact, both of them last season were West Ham victories. They haven't won 3 successive league games against Wolves since an 8-game winning run that ended in 1958, the year that Blue Peter first went on air, parking meters first appeared in London, and the M1 motorway was opened for the first time.
Interesting stuff.
It's Soler. I hate parking meters. There's a yellow card now for Soler. He's been booked for his challenge on halfway. Again, it's just another pause in play, which benefits, I think, Wolverhampton Wanderers, who are quite happy for the game to be interrupted and stopped and not flow in the manner that maybe West Ham want it to.
I think the other question when you watch Wolves play is, if a different manager came in, what else could you do with this team? You know, they're good footballers, they play half-decent football. Yes, they're a bit vulnerable defensively, and you could be a bit more pragmatic with that. But when you're now they're in a bit of trouble, they need to win some games, don't they, and score some goals. You know, it's that hard balance between being tougher to beat while still being a goal threat at the moment. And tonight, I think they've done that quite well.
Cunha into Lemina, who slips as the ball goes to the edge of the box. It's cleared away by Alvarez, stepping into the back line, away by Totti before Kudus can bring it down. Wan-Bissaka can't get it clear. It goes out on the far side. The issue is they've lost 16 of the last 24 Premier League games. They've gone out of the FA Cup at the quarter-final stage to Coventry. I wonder if that was the moment where the sort of tone turned and started to go wrong.
They didn't have anyone fit that day, though, did they?
Before that, they'd won just 4 of their 18 games in all competitions. And if you only lose 4 of 18, you're doing pretty well. And that's where they were back in March.
Yeah, it's a good point.
But it's gone from there to here.
The extremes.
The complete opposite. I just wonder whether or not that losing that match has sort of psychologically done a little bit of damage to the collective psyche of Wolverhampton Wanderers, players, supporters, managers, everything. There have been some things that Gary O'Neill's done which haven't gone down well with the support, changing formation, trying to be more progressive in the early part of the season. But this is a squad that has seen its best players sold for years and replaced by prospects and potential rather than established stars. And at the moment, they probably look the better team in this game.
Well, they've started the second half better, that's for sure.
Doherty throws the ball in from the right side. Cunha takes it down, nudges it on to Strand Larsen, can't get it out of his feet. Soler tries to help out. Diving in was Andre. The ball runs loose. Bowen pokes it far side. Now Wan-Bissaka opens up his legs and charges down the right flank. Lamina goes across to meet him. He gets to the edge of the penalty area. The cross comes in. It's blocked by Lamina. Lamina wanted that to go out for a goal kick. He says it came off Wan-Bissaka last. The referee is giving the 10th corner of the game to West Ham United instead.
Good break from West Ham, but what brilliant defending again from Lamina one-on-one with Wan-Bissaka. Nice and patient, committed, disciplined, all the things you want when you're one-on-one. Does the work, gets there, follows him all the way, and then blocks that cross. Real determination to keep a clean sheet for his team, Lamina.
53 on the clock. Corner comes in from Bowen. It's a deep one towards the far post. It's headed back by Souček towards the far stick, and it's dropped in. West Ham United take the lead against the worst defence in the league. And it's another set-piece goal conceded by Wolverhampton Wanderers. And for all their enterprising play and great chances in the game, they've had a couple, they haven't taken them, and they've conceded the first goal. 8 minutes into the second half, Thomas Souček again from a set piece, a header at the far stick, which loops over goalkeeper and defenders into the far corner, and it's West Ham 1, Wolves 0.
Well, the best header of the ball is not followed by anybody. He's left free, which is awful. Lamina gets blocked, to be fair, but I think Sam Johnston's got to do better. He's got to move his feet and try and get back for that. I think it's a looping header. It's a decent header. I think the keeper's got to do a bit better. And there's got to be someone on the line as well. That's a poor goal to give away. Really, really poor.
Well, the delivery was deep towards the far edge of the 6-yard box. Souček was waiting for it. He headed the ball back across the face of goal and out towards the far stick. It dropped over the head of everyone, and Souček twirled away in celebration. There was a quick VAR check. That was dismissed pretty quickly. I'm not really sure that there was much to go on there.
Lamina got blocked, to be fair, but it was clever the way they did it. They made it look like an accident, which is the way to do it.
Well, they've taken the lead now. Maybe that will spark them into even more life. It's cleared away by Johnston up towards the halfway line. Headed by Kilman. First contact is West Ham contact. It goes out towards the left and Souček strokes it forward. Somerville was coming back from an offside position. They want to move the ball quickly. They're not allowed to do so. The referee should have just played on there, really, once it came to Wolverhampton Wanderers. And they do have it now with Cunha in the centre circle. Forward it goes, out to the right. It's being chased down by João Gomez. He sends the cross into the box. It's headed away, unchallenged by Mavropanos, because Strand Larsen has been drawn to the near post.
He's the only one in there, Sam.
West Ham got the ball out towards the far side, and Wan-Bissaka manages to twirl away from Aït-Nouri. 1-0 to West Ham. Bowen squeezes it for a really tight gap from the far touchline into the centre. Kudus takes it on. Forward now to Carlos Soler, then out to the wide left. Somerville for West Ham cuts in, plays it towards the edge of the D. It's behind Kudus, who has to funnel the ball back out of Somerville again. He tries to go down the outside, flicks it into the box. Alvarez onto Kudus, back to Somerville. They're a bit too intricate there, and the ball's going to spill out to Semedo on this near side, and Wolverhampton Wanderers are going to try and come out with a ball.
Got to try and remain composed here, Wolves, and just keep playing their football, because they are making chances. Difficult to do, because obviously the West Ham players are now more confident, wanting the ball. Fans are up.
They just leak too many goals, don't they, Wolverhampton Wanderers? That is the big issue as they come forward over on the left-hand side. And the effort from Totti is well over the top of the crossbar, nowhere near causing any sort of problem for Lucas Fabianski. They have conceded first in now 11 Premier League games this season, have Wolverhampton Wanderers. That's Leicester and Southampton levels, that's bottom 3 levels.
I mean, I think the keeper's position's all wrong, but João Gomez, he can see that he's going to loop the header. Just get back online.
Thomas Souček, when he celebrated, signalling 9 fingers. Not because he's won 9 league titles like Pep Guardiola, but in tribute to Mikel Antonio, his friend. Here is Totti running into problems over on the far side after the ball was played to him by Johnston. He gets away with it, feeds it into Cunha. It's just a little bit too deep for me at times. Up to Totti again on halfway.
I agree with that.
Cunha then tries to funnel it forward, and it's cut out by Wan-Bissaka, and Strand Larsen wrestling with it, gives away a free kick after pushing in the back Dinos Mavropanos. Danny Ings has just travelled back to the dugouts after warming up away to our left. No changes imminent for Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Well, I think Guedes is more of a goal threat than João Gomez playing in that role. That would be one I'd look at. Forbes is obviously someone who's quick and go past people as well. And Bellegarde the same, but he'll have to change someone soon just to give him a bit of new lease of life. But as I said, they started the half well. It's these set plays that are really killing them.
Well, the last 5 goals they've conceded now have come from set plays. That's a real worry, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that was really poor. Because as the ball was looping, you know that Souček can only score by looping the header. And Sam Johnson doesn't read it, and nor does João Gomez.
And it is a looped header, which took an age to drop actually into the net. Yeah. We were sitting here watching it, and I was thinking, is it going to go? Is it going to go? Surely someone's going to get there. No, it's gone. And then it dropped beyond his head and into the side netting as we look at it. And the first goal of the game is the West Ham United goal.
I'd be tempted to take... I mean, he does get you a goal, Strand Larsen, but maybe for leaving for the crosses, but some pace to trouble the back two.
Yeah. Where's that pace going to come from, though? That's the big question. Who's on the bench that can provide that?
I think Guedes is getting...
Carlos Forbes is really quick. Yeah. Guedes is getting ready. It's going to come from somewhere. Needs must. Semedo's gone to win a challenge and hasn't done so. It's flicked out to Somerville, and he's in space down the left side, races to the edge of the box. Bowen goes on the outside, gets the ball, low cross into the centre, tucked in by Kudus, arriving at the far post. It's 2-0 to West Ham United, and if Gary O'Neill was on the precipice before, he will be concerned that goal might just push him over the edge. Well worked by West Ham United, mistake in midfield. Semedo went towards the halfway line to challenge Souček, didn't get there. That left a gap for Somerville. He fed it to Bowen. Bowen went round the outside of the defender. Bueno sent it into the 6-yard box. Kudus was there.
He might be to offside.
Tap it home, and it's 2-0.
Good play from Bowen. Poor defending from Bueno. He's offside. This ain't going to count, Sam. I think he's just made his run too early. Kudus. It's great play from Bowen, but I think this is going to be a lifeline for Wolves.
Well, VAR checking it.
Well, it's off.
Writing the lines on the pitch at
Don't
Stockley
need lines.
Park. You never know with these things, though.
Oh,
Dan.
come on.
I can see it. I know. I can see the pictures that you see, but I've seen a couple of those recently, and I'm never 100% sure until I've seen them press the green button. But the VAR, Andy Madley, just doing the final checks. Is he behind the ball? That's the big question. Or that will be what they're checking for. Or
don't have to be.
Not to be onside. No, but if he's in front of the ball, then he's going to be offside. And that's what they're checking for, the possible offside. He's in front of Totti, which is the issue here.
He's off. 100%.
It's taking a bit of time. And there's whistles around the ground. They're still checking, they're still going through the process.
What are they doing?
They're trying to find the kick point. It's been overturned, offside, no goal. There you go. So it is just the one for West Ham United, not two. And a reprieve for Wolves, and they should take that as a warning, Dan.
Absolutely, it's a lifeline. It's an absolute lifeline.
Well, they are going to take off Strand Larsen.
I think that's the right thing to do.
And bring on Guedes.
He's carrying a caravan. He can't get about. I know he's a big lad and played a lot of minutes, but he's not causing a threat at all.
And they've also taken off Andre. Guedes has come on and Bellegarde has come on.
Yeah, they've dropped João Gomez into the middle of the park with Lamina to replace Andre, and they've put Bellegarde in behind Guedes.
He started for the first time in the Premier League since November 2022 on Wednesday night. Gonzalo Guedes didn't do enough to keep his place in that game. Bellegarde, dynamic, versatile, a little bit raw at times. He's on the pitch now. Guedes holds it up and tries to feed Doherty. It's 1-0, not 2. After Kudus's goal was adjudged to have been offside after a very long VAR check for what Danny spotted within about 3 seconds. I say very long. It was 1 minute 19 seconds for the VAR check.
Felt longer than that.
It did, didn't it?
It was longer than that.
Are you suggesting that Sal didn't use his timer properly?
If he timed it, he got it wrong because it was more than 119.
Foul by João Gomez, I think it was, in the middle of the park.
Do you know what's strange about that one is you didn't need to draw the lines. It was so obvious.
I know, Dan, but you know what it's like. Yeah.
No, but look, I'm all for making sure, but that didn't need a making sure line. Just see it, it's off. It's nearly a metre off.
Carlos Soler comes off, and now we see Lucas Paquetá. Has been off colour for West Ham. Hasn't scored since October in the victory over Ipswich. But he is on the pitch now to add an extra little bit of guile as we go into the final 27 minutes of the game. With it still finely poised, I think, West Ham thought they'd scored a second goal. That isn't the case. It remains 1-0.
See, I want to see a few more Wolves players like this, tensing their fists and saying to each, come on, this is a chance, this is a lifeline for us, come on.
Because it's a pretty even game, isn't it, really?
It was till the header.
Yeah, until the header, which was scored by Thomas Souček.
We said it at half-time.
Ball sent forward by Emerson, headed into the air by Mavropanos, looking for Kilman, chested down on the edge of the area by Kudus, who strikes it left-footed, and that certainly is away and out of play. Not troubling Sam Johnston, away to our left, the goalkeeper. What will Paquetá bring to this team?
Energy, class on the ball, creativity if he gets the opportunity to move further up the pitch. But he worked for a creative player. His work ethic's really good. Good head.
There's a long strike from Johnston upfield. Bellegarde won the header, flicked it on towards Guedes. It didn't stick with Guedes, and it's back with West Ham, who have it on halfway. Kilman to the right side, and Alvarez feeds Paquetá. Quick one-touch football now from West Ham. Have just increased their tempo. West Ham 1, Wolves 0 on Talksport with Sky Sports. And don't forget that you can stream the biggest Premier League games available on no contract with Now, like West Ham against Wolves, live right now. Search Now Sports. Offside flag is up on this near touchline against Somerville, and a free kick given to Wolverhampton Wanderers in the right full-back position. I mean, I was talking to some West Ham fans earlier today who said they should be wiping the floor with teams like Wolves. Should they?
No, I don't think that's realistic. I mean, wiping the floor with anyone in the Premier League, it's a tough competitive league, and Wolves are an established Premier League club. They haven't just come up from the Championship, but they should be favourites and probably win it 7 out of 10. Yeah, because of the budget difference, because of the squad quality, but no, not wiping the floor with them.
Kudus harassing João Gomez, gives away a free kick on halfway. And Wolves have it once again. Both West Ham and Wolves are desperate for 2024 to disappear. And these are the two teams with the fewest points and the most goals conceded in the Premier League across 2024.
Good ball.
Wolves' trajectory continues to go downward. 10th, then 13th, then 14th last season. Here is Bellegarde inside the area. Guedes, though, gets there ahead of him and tries a spectacular overhead kick, which wasn't on because it was a bit behind him, and he's taken it off the toes of Bellegarde as it goes into the box.
Do you know when you're down the bottom, Sam, those little things, so he's tried so hard to get something on this cross, Guedes. He's taken it away from his mate Bellegarde. Now, you could argue Bellegarde should be telling him, but at least there's an intention there to try and do better. And even that chance in the first minute of the second half, men in the, players bombing forward and trying to do the right thing. You just need something to go your way.
Well, nothing's gone their way in front of goal tonight, and they've given away a stupid goal again from a set piece. And he was just trying too hard. Bellegarde, did he shout for it? That's a question. He thought it was going to fall to him kindly, and it would have done if Guedes hadn't have intervened. Here's Cunha now intervening and trying to spark them into attack. They've got 5 in the attack. Guedes is one of them. He thought he was pushed in the back. He comes back out to Doherty. They want a penalty. They haven't been awarded one by the referee. They are going to get a free kick on this near side, and I think there'll be a check. Gary O'Neill's going mental on this near touchline. He thinks that should have been a penalty for a push in the back on Guedes. Well, it broke down the left after Cunha had rescued the ball. He fed Guedes on the edge of the box. Emerson pushed him in the back. Was it enough to yield a penalty? That's the question.
Yes. He's pushed him in the base. He's pushed him over with his shoulder. It's a penalty.
Well, John Brooks, as far as we can tell, is not being told by the VAR that there is a check going on. But there should be.
They've got to. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Gary O'Neill is going absolutely spare on this near touchline. I think there is going to be a VAR check here.
I think there's got to be.
They're certainly looking at it, and they are checking for a possible penalty. He has walked away, John Brooks. So does that mean he's going to give the free kick? I think they've checked it and they've cleared it, Just by the body language of the referee, I think he said no penalty. Yeah, no penalty. The VAR is going with the referee's call, and Gary O'Neill cannot hide his emotions.
That's unbelievable.
Well, the VAR is Andy Madley.
Well, Andy Madley needs to sort himself out, because that's as blatant a penalty as you'll ever see. It's absolutely incompetent VAR officialing to not let the referee know he's missed an absolute stonewall penalty.
You were talking about those moments where you need something to go for you. It didn't. Here's the ball into the box, though. Here is Doherty arriving for Wolves, and he has scored now, and he's equalised for Wolverhampton Wanderers. A long ball down the left-hand side. The cross was pinpoint, and Doherty was there, sliding in on the penalty spot to poke it past Fabianski and get the equaliser. Gary O'Neill relieved. Moments after they should have been awarded a penalty, they have a goal.
Well, there's nothing lucky about that, because that's a brilliant cross and a brilliant finish. Do you know what? Doherty has been at it tonight, defensively, and he's been bombing forward and trying to get in the box. It's a brilliant take from Guedes. What a cross from Aït-Nouri, and in he comes, the other wing back. Left-footed volley into the bottom corner. What a finish.
Well, what a turn of events. West Ham have a goal disallowed. Wolverhampton Wanderers have a penalty claim, a disputed penalty claim, turned down. And then they equalise after a brilliant cross from Aït-Nouri and a terrific finish from the other wing-back, Matt Doherty. Now it's game on at the London Stadium. 20 minutes to go. And all of a sudden the mood has changed in here, and that head of steam that West Ham had started to build up has just evaporated.
Well, the response from the disallowed second goal has been great from Wolves. It gave them life. It gave them life. And then they had the... I thought it was a penalty. Then they put that to bed, carried on. Great little touch. Guedes was a brilliant touch, pulled out of the air, Fed Aït-Nouri, who whipped in one of those lovely balls. And we've said there hasn't been enough people in the box. Well, Matt Doherty was determined to get there, and when he got there, what a finish. They've deserved that second half. They've absolutely deserved it. Now they've got another set play to defend against, and this is their problem.
Well, this is the opportunity that they were craving, getting back into the game, giving themselves a platform. Now they've got to see out a set piece which has come to the edge of the box for Somerville to strike. Defended well, spills into the air, drops right side of the box for West Ham. Bowen jinks his way past Guedes, gets a low shot into the far corner and scores brilliantly. Wolverhampton Wanderers didn't make the tackle they were supposed to on the edge of the box. Guedes guilty, Bowen ruthless in his punishment, jinking one way then the other, and then left-footed, driving the ball to the far corner out of the reach of Sam Johnston. And West Ham, after being pegged back to 1-1 mere seconds ago, are in front again. It's West Ham 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1.
I'm not sure what the Wolves players are complaining about. We'll have to wait and see on the replay.
Jared Bowen walks behind the goal, picks up a Mikel Antonio shirt, shows it to the fans. Emotional night tonight for West Ham.
I think they wanted Mavropanos to foul on Bueno is what they're after.
Well, I think there was a problem here with the poor attempt by Guedes to charge down Jared Bowen.
Well, that's a typical forward struggling. You know he's left-footed. Stay on your... Yeah, that's really poor. And I have to say, João Gomez's reaction after, look at him, moves out of the way. I mean, am I seeing something? I mean, you can't move out of the way.
Danny Ings is on for Crescencio Somerville. As West Ham make another assertive change, maybe they feel as if their chance to win this match has come, their chance to take control of the game has come. They've managed to respond within 2 minutes and 48 seconds after the equaliser from Doherty. Gary O'Neill might have thought that that was the moment that Wolverhampton Wanderers would be spurred on. Maybe it has spurred on West Ham instead, and Bowen is racing away again from Lamina and getting into the box down the right side, tucking it back to Kudus, does come back to Ings, he tries to get hold of it but can't quite, and then Doherty comes towards this near side and will clear, but Wolverhampton Wanderers look rattled.
Well, Guedes and Gomez need to hang their head in shame, because they are two choke and gesture efforts to stop arguably the most talented player on the pitch coming in on his left foot just when you've got back in the game. It's unbelievable, some of the things you see.
Wan-Bissaka down the right into the penalty area, slide tackle from Lamina, puts him behind, and it's away for a corner kick. 17 to go. West Ham 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. There hasn't been much progress here at West Ham under Julian Lopetegui, but maybe a win tonight will turn the tide for the Spanish manager.
They've not been great, but they've done enough. Set plays has been a difference, and a bit of magic from Bowen, but that was poor defending from Wolves again.
Corner kick over on the far side to be taken by Bowen. He's got 6 to aim at in the centre of the penalty area. Ings has just dropped off to the edge of the box. Mavropanos is wrestling with Bellegarde. It's in towards Mavropanos, punched away by Johnston. Ings trying to keep it alive. Cunha's going to get it over the head of the defender. And now it's 3 on 3. They've got to play it to Aït-Nouri, who's racing away down the left-hand side. He comes back towards Cunha. It was a poor ball, but Aït-Nouri hasn't given up the chase yet. He's down on the left-hand side by the corner flag, delivering across into the box, away by Mavropanos. And West Ham survived what was a lightning quick break. Lovely touch by Kudus on the far side to take it away from João Gomez. Referee says that he is going to give a free kick there. And it's a West Ham United free kick.
We just needed... There was a great break, that was. And they're the type of things you do in training all the time. The 3v2s, the 4v3s, 2v1s. He had to wait a little bit longer to release Aït-Nouri and take the risk that he might be offside.
Well, we've got a game on our hands now, because the later the game goes on with the scoreline as it is, Wolves are going to have to go for it.
They are, yeah.
And West Ham might just pick them off on the counter-attack. They've got the talent to do that. Here is Aït-Nouri, whose cross into the box converted by Matt Doherty was the moment where Gary O'Neill thought the tide had turned in his favour. Very quickly Jarrod Bowen set about putting that thought process right. It was a terrific finish by him. Not that he was discouraged by the token efforts of the Wolverhampton Wanderers defence. A common theme over the course of the season. It's poor by Doherty as he tries to scoop it out on this near side.
Tommy Doyle's coming on for João Gomez, I think. I think João Gomez.
He's got the eye for a killer pass. He's got the ability to play a good forward ball. He's a good technician, Tommy Doyle.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen more of him.
He's about to come on in that Wolves midfield with 14 minutes to go, live on Talksport on Monday Night Football, live from London Stadium under the lights with the orbital, the red iron construction with the viewing platforms high in the sky that looks over the whole of the Olympic Park, peeking up over the roof of this Olympic Stadium. Its triangular floodlights, 12 of them all dotted around, hanging from the roof of the stadium constructed for the 2012 Olympics.
Do you know the thing is for João Gomez, he works so hard and tries to do so many good things and right things. It's I don't know what he was thinking, or whether he was tired mind, tired legs with that, because it doesn't reflect his work ethic, that type of poor turn away and like token gesture block. It's the opposite of what
I wondered whether or not, because he was quite away from where Bowen was, and he's sort of midway between Bowen and that bottom corner. I wonder whether or not he was pulling his leg out of the way because he thought he might deflect it in.
Maybe. That wouldn't ever come into my thinking, but yeah, maybe. I still think when he looks back on it, because he turns his body, it looks really poor. They're both going to be
really disappointed. I mean, Guedes jumping out the way like he's sort of...
Well, he's a forward, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think that's really going to cut the mustard with Gary O'Neill.
Well, you wouldn't expect him to cope with Bowen one-on-one very often. I know it was a simple one, but they're still in this. They've got to keep believing. They'll get another chance.
12 minutes to go. Paquetá tries to get it forward. Doherty onto Cunha on the near side. They've got options in the middle. And one of them is Guedes. Guedes picks it up and shoots right-footed. Tries to catch Fabianski out with an early effort. And he drops down to his left, Fabianski.
So every time I see Guedes, I like him. Again, I'm surprised he's not been used more. He's a real threat and he can score a goal.
Yeah, he certainly can.
Just can't defend.
Which is not much help when he was defending that set piece, which ended up going back out to Bowen, who then scored what might be the winning goal for Julian Lopetegui, and he hasn't had that winning feeling enough this season. Here is Semedo, deep inside Wolverhampton Wanderers territory. Clipped forward by Johnston. I don't know what Doherty was trying there, but he's sent it back to Tossi and then into the arms of Johnston.
2v2. If they go forward quickly, 2v2. Just keep doing, because the West Ham fullbacks are still advanced.
Well, what you was pointing out there was Cunha and Guedes up against Kilman and Mavropanos, and when that ball went back to Johnston, I thought immediately he was going to smash it upfield and say, go on then, let's see if you can compete with them.
And now they're defending again.
Here's Doherty. He delayed, didn't send it forward, and as a result then they tried to play out from the back.
Gary O'Neill's telling him, he can see it, he's telling him to go long and he keeps playing short. They're 2v2. Paqueta's tucked in now to make a 3v2. Well played.
Lovely little balletic turn by him, but Semedo almost overran the ball. That enticed Kilman out of position, and Cunha is running at the back line now. He feeds the ball to Lemina, and his effort is saved down low by Fabianski. It's a good Wolverhampton Wanderers move in the end.
Oh, it's a great move. Great ball from Cunha as well. Good, what a run from Lemina. He's been terrific. Doesn't deserve to be on a losing team. Gets a good connection as well. He's just got to slot it either side. Not easy when you're travelling that quick.
Right on the edge of the area, he met that ball with a full force, but Fabianski was planted in the middle of his goal, and it was straight at him. But he still had to get down quickly, Fabianski. It wasn't an easy effort to deal with, but he dealt with it. But it was another good Wolves move, and if they could have just finished off a couple of their chances, they might already have been home and hosed in this game. But
if buts and maybes,
they can't defend for Toffee, and that is a huge problem. especially in the Premier League. Ball headed back towards his own goalkeeper by Fabianski. Wolves have conceded now 6 goals in their last 3 Premier League games. In fact, sorry, say that again. They've conceded 8 goals in the last 2 Premier League games before tonight, so it's 10 goals in the last 3. They are struggling to keep the ball out of the back of the net.
I'm not the most sympathetic man in the world, as you well know.
Really? I hadn't noticed that.
But I do feel a bit for Wolves because they've put in a hell of a shift. I mean, the problem is working hard and doing your best doesn't always get you results. Bowen's little bit of magic could be the difference, but they're definitely playing for the manager and they play some good football.
That's interesting that you say that. Doing your best and not getting the results doesn't always go hand in hand, but working hard, doing the things you've been asked to do, keep going, the idea of that should generate you more results in the long run if you've got the quality. But I suppose maybe the issue is they haven't got the quality. By the way, the Premier League match centre didn't give a penalty, or the VAR didn't give a penalty for Gonzalo Guedes being pushed in the back because they deemed that the contact happened outside the penalty area.
I think it was happening as he's going in, but is it point of contact or is it continuation of the foul? I don't know.
It can be. If the significant contact continues inside the penalty area, it is available to the referee to give a penalty. Oh, there's a mistake here, and Alvarez has lost the ball, and it's 3-on-2 in Wolves' favour. Bellegarde runs into the box, collides with the defender Mavropanos, who did brilliantly. Bellegarde keeps it alive. Cunha's got it back, sets it back for Tommy Doyle over the bar. Oh, he's got right underneath that and sent it high into the night sky. And the West Ham fans behind the goal grab it from the air, pull it into their chest, and witness yet another wasted chance for Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Well, it's another good break, and it's good defending actually from Mavropanos. But when it breaks and it goes to Mateusz Cunha on the left-hand side of the box, he's nice and patient. He looks up, he picks out a pass. Doyle coming in inside the box. Yes, he's just come off the bench on his weaker foot.
Oh, is there a shout for a penalty here?
Yeah. Well, they're showing a replay of Mavropanos on Bellegarde. I don't think they're going to give that. He did connect with him.
He's
asking him to wait.
On his foot. I think Mavropanos has stepped on Bellegarde's foot here. And if that's the case, it's a penalty, isn't it? Because he's brought him down.
No, they haven't given it. Don't ask me. You know what? Don't ask me.
No, I will ask you.
I think the only reason they haven't given it because when he stepped on his foot, he then took another step before jumping to the floor. But every week we see them given.
Is that a foul or is it not a foul?
Exactly.
It's a foul. Emerson down the left-hand side, moving towards the edge of the penalty area. Feeds it into Kudus. Kudus back to Paquetá. Interception comes. It's picked up by Doherty, and now Guedes leads the charge. Cunha over on the left-hand side. The ball by Guedes is too heavy, and it goes right out of play over on the left-hand side. Well, that VAR decision was a lot quicker than the offside one. That took 15 seconds.
Well, it doesn't matter whether it's short or long. They seem to get them wrong. Although, do you know what? On that one, I don't want to see penalties given.
Referee's call is what they've gone with for that.
Yeah.
Currently West Ham 2, Wolves 1, and for the latest odds you can head to Ladbrokes, where right now you can get West Ham at 6-1 on to win the game. The draw 19-4, 28-1 for Wolves. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes. 18+, BigGambleAware.org. I mean, to be honest, they might win this game, West Ham United, but there's no doubt that Wolverhampton Wanderers have been in it. And I think when Julian Lopetegui gets back into his office after the game, his feeling will not be one of triumph and joy, it will be one of relief.
Wolves have been a better team second half. The only difference is Bowen. Bowen gives you these magic moments of clinical finishing and just class.
Rodrigo Gomez is on for Wolverhampton Wanderers, and there's a triple change coming for West Ham United. It was Ryan Aït-Nouri who went off for Wolves as we approach the final 4 minutes of the game. 2-1 the score from West Ham in their favour.
You see, I'm really surprised with Lopetegui because Lopetegui, I should say, because he's making a triple substitution. Really, the Wolves should be back in it. It's too late. They were dominating for a while. Should have made these changes a while ago.
Bowen sends the ball centrally to Paquetá. Backheel by Ings in towards Kudus, who faces up the goalkeeper, scores, and the offside flag goes up. Well, it was almost as if everyone stood still as they were waiting to see if anyone was going to make a challenge or the flag was going to go up earlier.
Lovely bit of play. All started from Bowen again.
Paquetá's ball in towards Ings. A little back heel. Kudus was miles offside.
Well, I don't know. They might need to draw the lines for that one.
I think you're being a little bit sarcastic, although they are checking the disallowed goal for offside. Look, it's on the big scoreboard. Oh, and then they've made a very quick decision that the decision of no goal was definitely right, and it is offside. Off comes Kudus, and on comes Guido Rodriguez, on comes Jean-Claire Todibo and Aaron Cresswell, all coming on the pitch to just try and get West Ham over the line here. It will be a timely victory. Whether it acts as a stay of execution or it gives them a platform on which to build remains to be seen. It will be only the 9th time that they have experienced a winning feeling in the Premier League in 2024. Alvarez comes off, and so does Emerson as they ring the changes at the end of the game. They needed it, didn't they, West Ham?
Yeah, sometimes you need to win irrelevant of how you play. I mean, if this was two teams who weren't in trouble in the bottom, or if one of the teams, Wolves, weren't in trouble, you'd say that Wolves have been the better team and looked the more established team, or the more coached team in terms of longevity together. The fact is, we knew beforehand that Wolves struggle on set plays, and really that's what's done them.
Here they are, though, coming forward with Doherty trying to get round the back. Paquetá gets nothing on it, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our right. West Ham leading by 2-1 against Wolves on Talksport with Enterprise Rent a Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. The Wolves fans have been pretty vocal in the build-up to this game, thinking that Gary O'Neill's pretty lucky still to be in a job. Can you understand why they feel like that, or are you still a little bit confused, having watched them play tonight, that that's the case?
I think watching them tonight, he'll be proud of their performance, to be honest with you. He'll be really disappointed with the defending for Bowen's goal.
But it is a 17th defeat in 25 Premier League games.
Yeah, but that's why I said if you were just watching this game.
Yeah.
It's been a catalogue of problems over a period of time. You know, as you explained earlier, the wonderful run to then the extreme of this poor run's gone on from the end of last season to the beginning of this. So I understand the frustration, and to be honest with you, when you're in the bottom three, it's very hard after 14, 15 games to put up an argument for a manager who's still going to be in a job.
There is going to be 8 minutes of added time at the end of the 90 here, so there's going to be quite some time for West Ham to see out this victory. And you, on the evidence of what we've seen so far,
might be another chance.
Wolverhampton Wanderers will get another chance. It's forward by Johnston, up towards Strand Larsen. It's over his head. Guedes trying to keep it alive, and he does poke it into the channel. Across comes Mavropanos and pokes it out and away for a throw-in level with the edge of the box. Wolves on the attack. Doherty back to Cunha into a crossing position on the right side. He feeds it into Guedes. It's a poor ball into the centre, cut out by Guido Rodriguez, and then sent out to the far side by Bowen. Gary O'Neill stretches down, hinges and touches his front of his shins, but he is once again a forlorn figure on the near side as another attack comes to nothing. Free kick given for West Ham. We're about to get confirmation of 8 minutes of added time at the end of the 90. Well, the West Ham fans don't like that. The Wolverhampton Wanderers fans rather do. Here is Wan-Bissaka. Over on the far side, it's about game management for West Ham now. Can they see it over the line? This will be vital for them. They'll look at the standings and they will see that they won't move up any places, but they'll get within a point of Manchester United with a victory here for Wolves. And there seems to be a bit of a gap developing between Ipswich, Wolves and Southampton and everybody else above them. Crystal Palace in 17th had 13 points. At this stage of the season, a 4-point gap to the bottom three is quite a big gap.
It is. It's a tough one. It's a big call for the club, really. As I said to you before, this didn't look tonight like a performance of a team that's in the bottom three. I have to be honest with you.
Expected goals tonight, and you can love or hate that metric as much as you like. 0.91 for West Ham, 1.44 for Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Well, there you go. There you go. Do you know what? It's always... My old mentor, Gerard Houllier, used to always obsess about small moments. People go, this performance, that performance. Performances are judged on small moments. They change games. The poor set play... good from West Ham's point of view, good goal from Souček, but poor defending from Wolves set play. Then they get back in after not getting the penalty, showing resilience, and then one of your players decides to jump out of a block or a tackle, and Bowen's bit of magic. I mean, they've had chances. It's a hard watch for a Wolves fan because there will be some elements of this performance that you like. You have to.
92 minutes of the 98 that have been recommended. A free kick for West Ham on the near side. Aaron Cresswell about to deliver it, left-footed, arcing it towards the penalty spot. It's flicked on by Souček, and his header is narrowly wide. And again, it's not really advisable to allow him to get first contact.
No, it's really not. Too easy again. Good ball in, actually.
Cresswell's capable of that. 10 years a hammer now for Aaron Cresswell as Sam Johnson looks to clear forward through the middle of the pitch, trying to find a gold shirt. And there was a push, was there, on Souček by Bellegarde? I don't think there was much in it. The ball, which went through to Cunha, and it looked like they were going to have a chance to build an attack there, has been had the momentum sucked out of it. Lopetegui doesn't look particularly comfortable on the near touchline, just hoping that the minutes tick away. There has seemed to be a sort of atmosphere drain inside the stadium, even though there was 8 minutes of added time.
I think one thing for sure, watching at the moment this West Ham team, and they have got some brilliant players who get them out of, Bowen's just Paqueta, Kudus, real top players. They still look really easy to play against, really vulnerable. I'm not sure what the next run of games is, but...
Well, the next run of games we'll go through in just a second, because Bowen is coming up towards the edge of the penalty area, trying to dance his way through that Wolves defence. He didn't quite manage it, and it's cleared away over on the far side by Lamina, but he's not going to reach his intended target, and it goes out for a throw into West Ham on halfway. West Ham have got Bournemouth away next, tough game. Brighton at home, tough game. Southampton away, Liverpool at home, Manchester City away, and then Fulham at home.
That's a tough run. Tough run. That we'll know a lot more about them then. But I think at the moment they look. I mean, even late in this game when they were winning, when they've been winning, they've left the two centre halves isolated. I know he's made the sub now.
The Wolves have got Ipswich at home.
What a
next.
good ball that is.
Here is Guedes trying to make it a better ball. He turns it round the corner for Doherty on the attack. Sends it back to the edge of the area. It's a poor pass selection. It goes behind everyone and out the other side, and Bowen manages to get it clear. Lamina keeps it in Wolves' possession. They come forward again. Cunha, again a little bit too deep. 95 minutes on the clock. Ipswich and Leicester next for Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Oh,
that's a late challenge by Thomas Souček, and it's going to generate a free kick for Wolves. A yellow card comes out. It's Guido Rodriguez actually who was the one who perpetrated that challenge, and it's going to be a free kick to Wolves around about 15-16 yards from the edge of the penalty area, and this might be their last chance. Remember, Julian Lopetegui needs a victory as much as Gary O'Neill needs one.
See, the thing with these, when you're taking free kicks really late in the game and you know you've got to put it in a good area, you've got to that's not bad.
Doyle in towards Lamina. His header, does it take a flick? No. It goes straight behind and out for a goal kick away to our right. It was Doyle's cross into the box. It did unsettle the West Ham back line, but Lemina couldn't make the most of it.
It was too far away from the goal.
Well, this was the night that Julian Lopetegui wanted his team to stand up and be counted. The fans aren't staying in here, by the way, to cheer them off the pitch. They're already off. So this place is at least half empty now, and it wasn't full at the start. And there's not much love around, I think, for this incarnation of West Ham at the moment, but they are getting the job done tonight.
Got a couple of minutes, 2 minutes maybe.
They have a free kick, Wolves on the edge of their own box. Semedo tries to get it out towards the near side. Goes infield to Doyle. Doyle looks up, floats it forward. They've scored late goals before. Remember their game against Brighton, which everyone thought was dead and buried. They came back in that match. They scored late goals at Fulham. They need another late turn of events here.
Get it in the box. Look, they're still passing it around the back.
Here is Semedo to Doyle. Doyle over the top. Guedes in behind the defence. Across comes Paquetá, and he does very well, actually. Lucas Paquetá. He just got there just in time and nudged it out for a throw-in level with the edge of the penalty area. The ball goes forward to Semedo. Semedo to Guedes on the near touchline. There's four waiting in the centre. Guedes' ball is a deep one towards the far post. It's kept alive. Falls for Bellegarde. His right-footed shot. Well, he rushed it when there actually was an opportunity for Pedro Lima over on the far side to probably take that. And he did rush it, missed the target, and it dribbles behind and away for a goal kick. And I think maybe that's the game. We have had confirmation from the PGMOL that they decided, having looked at that incident where Mavropanos stepped on the foot of Bellegarde, that the referee's call wasn't clear and obviously wrong.
Well, we see them given every week, don't we? That's the problem. I mean, it's so inconsistent because every time we see contact and a player go down, they give a penalty, so they don't tonight. Why?
Ball half cleared, but it's come to Paquetá, who strikes it and hits it.
Why is Paquetá trying to score from 35 yards when there's a minute left and his team
he's
are
given
winning?
the ball away, and now Wolves have got one last attack. They run the ball forward to the halfway line. Doyle pumps it long up towards the middle of the West Ham defence. It's away. Comes back to Doyle, then to Semedo. They need to get it forward. Semedo does that. Up towards Lemina. He flicks it on. Doherty is chasing the goalkeeper. Comes out, just gets there. And he was offside anyway, Doherty. And it isn't going to count for anything, even if he had managed to connect with the ball. And Fabianski is coming over to Lucas Paquetá and saying, what on earth are you doing, by the way? Fabianski giving him a lesson in game management as we get into the 99th minute of the game. West Ham are going to get their victory. They're going to get the 3 points that Julian Lopetegui absolutely needs and craves and wants and is about to get. There is the full-time whistle, and West Ham United do win. Julian Lopetegui had to win this game to keep his job, but West Ham have won this game, and they have done so thanks to Jared Bowen. But it's all kicking off on the halfway line. Lemina and Bowen going at each other, and they have to be dragged apart, and that was physical right at the very end. And the two sets of players involved in a melee on the halfway line. Lemina has to be pushed away by Jean-Claire Todibo. And Jared Bowen was absolutely furious. And the two sets of players involved in an ugly confrontation right at the end of the game. Lemina still going, Bowen still going. Bowen not happy at all. Souček getting involved too. And it was all kicking off right at the very end. And there was a yellow card there that came out for Jared Bowen. And Lemina might well be dealt with a little bit harsher by the referee when all is said and done. A Wolves member of staff brings Lemina to the side of the pitch. He is furious, but there is still fight left in Wolverhampton Wanderers despite defeat. And there are ugly scenes at the end that are marring a victory for West Ham United that they need. The London Stadium, rarely anyone's happy place, but there will be at least a few happy hammers tonight. Gary O'Neill under pressure before the evening started. That pressure has just gone up a few notches. West Ham have won it by 2-1.
Sam, thank you very much. Yes, such a strange turn of events, such ugly scenes as we were hearing I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles as some of the fans were singing along, and that was the melee that was unfolding on the pitch. Very, very strange scenes right at the end of a game, which, you know, it's unsurprising.
Lemina's
so much
still
passion.
Trying to get to him.
And it's still trying to get to him. So much passion in this game. Jun Lopetegui's hugging a few of those Wolves players, isn't he? Right at the end, and the Wolves players are heading over, I believe, to the away end to see their fans. Look, as I say, so much passion in this. There was so much riding on this game, even before a whistle or a ball was kicked. And at the final whistle, look, the pressure has mounted on Gary O'Neill and on this Wolves side as well. Todibo's still there, trying to calm the Wolves players out there. Look, it's a victory for West Ham, and we'll talk about them in a moment. For Wolves, it's a really difficult situation to find them in, because you look at this game, I mean, look, this is still going on, isn't it? Look, how angry is he? Dearie me. I'm not sure when they're going to be able to temper these nerves, but something has really got his goat, and everyone is trying to stop him there.
Do you know what? It's we don't know exactly what's gone on.
Yeah.
But my gut says I want more of him in my team.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't care what the words were with Bowen, whoever else it was, and I don't even care that his reaction's a bit over the top now. But he gave everything tonight, and he's still. You can see how frustrated and angry he is, and he's playing for his club and his team, and he's doing the right thing. He's going off the pitch. We don't know whether he wanted to walk back over to just shake hands. Of course, we don't know. Everyone was getting in his way, and he was getting frustrated. But I tell you what, if they had 11 of him, they wouldn't be in the bottom three.
Yeah. That is fight, isn't it, Mario Lemina? What a player he's been today. And as you say, fighting right until the very end. I mean, when you look at this Wolves performance, I mean, look, the players have gone over to see the away fans. Lemina's been taken off, and West Ham are still on the pitch. Actually, so a few of the players are clapping the few fans that are still here in the stadium. For Wolves, look, you can look at this in two ways. You can look at it in the context of this game alone, and then you can look at it in the context of the bigger picture. In this game alone, that didn't look like a side who now find themselves 19th in the table. That didn't look like a side who haven't been coached by their manager. It didn't look like a side who weren't together and united. It looked like a side that was fighting. It looked like a side that had opportunities, that found a way to play. It just didn't work out for them.
I think if that level of performance had been there from day one, then they'd be in a better position. The problem is they haven't been able to maintain that level of performance. Because if you play that well away from home, then you're going to get points.
Yeah.
But that level of performance hasn't been there. And ultimately, even in a good performance like that, the frailty still shone up. You know, moments in games, the set plays, they were vulnerable throughout the 90, obviously.
And they conceded a few that they didn't need to.
And the Bowen goal, although it showed great skill, the gesturing of the defending was so poor. So they have to play. I mean, I was listening to a Wolves fan on the radio earlier saying, you know, we have to score 3 goals to be in a game. And you can't do that in the Premier League. So, look, it's going to be interesting to see what they do about Gary O'Neill, whether they think someone else can come in and make it different give them a different outcome. I'd be tempted to give him a bit longer.